any like green ramp deck, any
Reanimator deck,
Reanimator, that kind of stuff, because you just don't have other options.
Yeah.
Excellent. So we're starting up here. It looks like Cameron's going to be on the play with, you said mono blue?
Yeah, he's on. I think he's the mono blue Delver.
All right, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Well, I saw a counterspell and an island,
yeah.
So that's, that's something.
Yeah.
Then over here on the, we'll say left. Gary,
yeah.
No, wait, the cameras are on all opposite sides.
Right. Okay,
great.
The one with the Delver mat looks like he'll be on the play with his namesake mat.
Yeah, he goes Island, Delver, Secrets on turn 1, which is pretty much what you want to be doing.
I can't see on the...
That's the green-blue tap.
It's Thornwood Falls. Yeah, there's 2 arts on that one, and he has the later art from the like Fate Reforged, time shifted. You know what happened?
The slightly sweeter looking one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slightly more healthy, I think it was.
Yeah. So we got a blue-green tap land, and on the other side we have Island Ponder.
Some powerful Magic cards. Yeah, we got Gain Life land against facing up against 2 of the best 1-drops ever printed in Magic. Well, not quite that. 2 of the best 1-drops that aren't restricted in Vintage.
I mean, Delver Secrets doesn't look that impressive when it doesn't flip, but I'm sure he pondered so that it will flip.
Yeah. Also, my bad, Ponder is restricted in Vintage, so we got a card that is restricted in Vintage right here, and another one on top of the library. Yeah.
So Cameron over here on Tron's got a Thornwheel Falls and one of the Tron pieces. That's a power plant, right?
Yes, that is power plant.
Yeah. Moments piece, right? That's 1 in a green that Cameron played in response to Gary attacking with his Split Delver. It's 1 in a green, prevent all combat damage to be dealt this turn.
So just kind of
3.
Again, 3 life healing spell kind of stave off this advance, because, the longer Tron, like, the more Tron turns Tron gets in this matchup, the worse it is for the mono blue Delver player.
Yep. And playing Moment's Peace there lets him then next turn also Moment's Peace.
Yeah.
And you just get...
And he's just made the first couple turns of our mono blue Delver player irrelevant.
Yeah. Also kind of forces the mono blue player to either you're not counterspelling Moment's Peace because it's going to come back with flashback. You really don't want to do it. Spend 2 mana and a card to deal with half a card.
Yeah,
it's not great. And so he can feel pretty safe doing the Moment's Peace here instead of you don't want to save it for value later because later you're swinging for 6.
Exactly.
Just get in while it getting's good and spend as much time as you can ramping up.
Looks like this is one of the blue versions of Tron, which as opposed to like a green-red Tron deck in Modern or Pauper that is going to ramp out these large cards. This is much more controlling. Looks like we just had a Daze picking up an island in response to a Forbidden Alchemy.
Yep.
At the end of Cameron Walbeck's turn, and as Cameron, you can't really be unhappy about that, can you? Because your opponent just bounced a land and spent a card to deal with your end step card that has flashback.
Yeah.
Seagate Oracle. Now he gets to resolve
Seagate Oracle. Yeah.
There aren't actually any. The only counterspell I believe in Pauper that could hit that there was another Daze, but that would put Gary 2 cards, two land drops behind. I don't think.
I bet there's a counterspell that can deal with that.
No,
not one that's played.
Blue,
some like horrible condition that some like common back in Scourge or something. Yeah.
Okay.
But definitely not in this deck here.
But like I was saying, this is a blue control deck that uses Tron to set up the mana to do stuff like flashback Forbidden Alchemy and Moment's Peace at the end of turn, as opposed to a deck that's like turboing out Tron and then trying to cast Ulamog's Crushers. He just has these card advantage spells. He has Condescends, and he has stuff like that get more powerful the more mana he has, and is trying to kind of control the game that way.
Interestingly enough, since he's able to ramp up like this and play Tron and do a long game, Spellstutter Sprite isn't looking that great. It's the 1/1 for 2. Yeah, it's on the screen right here. So he just end step plays Spellstutter Sprite just as a 1/1 flyer because the clock is going to matter a lot more than getting getting the 1 mana card out of Tron, which is probably not even happening.
Basically what he did is he turned this dead card into this 1/1 flyer. But additionally, he turned any future Spellstutter Sprites into a way to counter that Moment's Peace in the graveyard or any other 2-drop. So he kind of knew that there wasn't going to be a 1-drop incoming and decided to just play that out and make his future sprites better.
It is interesting that the Tron deck does play both Ancient Stirrings and Expedition Map, which are both 1 mana cards that turn on. They're very, very good and very good for a Spell Stutter Sprite to hit.
Yeah. The thing is, at this point in the game, he's had so much time in which he could cast them. It would just be against a top decked one.
If he had
that's
one,
not particularly good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as I said, this blue deck is not looking great. But hopefully he draws into some lands here, and we see he gets a that looks like the blue cycle land. Don't actually know what that one's called.
Is it? Lonely Sandbar. That makes sense. Yeah, I just haven't seen it with the modern frame before.
Yeah, I think it was in one of the commander sets.
That makes sense. Cool. Sorry, not Lonely Sandbar. It's a Remote Isle, which is the same thing, but cycles for 2 instead of blue, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Which actually makes a lot more sense in this deck. But
because it doesn't need the blue mana.
Yeah, it doesn't need the blue mana.
For some reason in my head it cycled for blue and a colorless, which is
no,
generic.
That's the
slightly worse. No. Yep. No.
All right, so it's looks like it's the Tron player's turn. He's facing down a Delver Secrets, a Spellstutter Sprite, and an unflipped Delver.
Yeah, not quite sure what's in his hand. He got a Prophetic Prism, which helps him filter some of that colorless mana into colored mana later in the game, like blue or green.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's helping that much right now. So that got counterspelled.
Interestingly enough, I think he just kind of wants to prevent his opponent from digging and being able to continue turning through his library, find answers to these threats. Especially because if you look over here, he's
got
8
lethal
power
on board.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a moment's peace followed up by a counterspell will end that game.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly.
I mean, hey, if Cameron got another 3 turns of no pressure, I'm sure he could have strung together something good.
I mean, I don't know. He was about to. If he could have started hitting land drops, even with the board as it was, he had 2 Moment's Peace in the graveyard.
Yeah.
So that Moment's Peace resolves if he didn't take any damage that turn. Then he untaps. He has the Moment's Peace in the graveyard. Is pretty safe from the Delver Secrets and the Spellstutter Sprites. That'll give him time to maybe flashback Moment's Peace and start playing cantrips, ways to set up Tron and actually get ahead.
Yeah. So in this sideboard, we can see the Delver player's sideboard. I saw some Hydroblasts, some Gut Shots,
some Annuls, a couple Stormbound Geist, which is kind of a good recursive threat against the removal decks.
Yeah.
Not really sure if that's what he's going to want in this matchup. It's a little slow. Yeah. I would anticipate more like these. The thing I would really anticipate coming in is these Annuls. The 1 blue counter artifact or enchantment, which is live against a lot of his opponent's deck.
I mean, not the important parts, right? I mean, the setup, sure.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. But as you saw in that game, if his opponent can't set up, he's going to easily kind of run him over with flyers.
That's entirely
fair.
I
can see an argument for boarding in a couple of those. Additionally, he might be thinking about boarding in some other additional counter magic out of the board, like that Dispel, to kind of counteract those Moments Peace. As we saw at a critical turn in that game, he needed the counterspell to be able to push through and prevent his opponent from stabilizing. And that's kind of classically what Delvers do in all formats, right? They play an early threat.
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly what Cameron's going to have in his sideboard, because apparently Cameron is borrowing this deck, and he's got some nice fun-ups in the sideboard, which may or may not be good in certain matchups. Now, I don't personally actually know what the standard green-blue Tron sideboard looks like. Mm-hmm. What would you think might be some stuff that would be in there?
I would guess that they're going to want probably some counter magic for matchups like these where they want to interact on the stack. Mm-hmm. Potentially, a classic is some kind of life gain to deal with aggressive decks. Potentially, they would have stuff like Capsize, Circle of Protection Red, which they can actually cast and activate off those the Prophetic Prisms that we saw.
That's good, yeah.
Sometimes Moment Pieces in the sideboard. Nature's Claim, of course, to deal with artifacts and enchantments.
Makes sense.
Pulse of Marassa, that card is phenomenal, and an engine that'll help you pull ahead in games like that.
Doesn't that usually go in the main board, though?
Yeah, it all depends on the list. Like you said, that list had Moments Peace in the sideboard, where this one plays at main deck, so that's a little bit of a...
There's a bunch of different ways to do it.
Yeah. You can decide if you want to play them more.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, so we've
got a list pulled up here that would be a sideboarding for the Delver deck. Like, one of the stock lists we've got here has Dispel, Gutshot, Steel Sabotage, Relica Progenitus, Stormbound Geist, Curse of Chains.
Steel Sabotage in the place of those
annuls.
Those annuls. Because enchantments aren't as big of a deal in Pauper. Usually the big, splashy, powerful enchantments are a little higher up on the rarity scale, so they don't see as much play in Pauper. But there's still a couple that matter.
Looks to me like that sideboard, and from what I saw, Gary's as well, is more suited towards counteracting other like, you know, small, the gut shots especially,
small creature decks,
and very interactive blue decks. You know, more dispels.
See, one of the boogeymen of the format is Affinity, a powerful deck in almost every format that is legal.
Funny how that goes.
Yeah, artifacts are a pretty good creature type, as it turns out, Adam.
Yeah.
So Affinity in Pauper is actually it does slightly different things than it does in other formats. In other formats, you have stuff like payoffs like Arcbound Ravager or Cranioplating that just get scaled absurdly with the number of artifacts you have, and make these giant threats. Put a Cranioplating on an Inkmon next, they swing for a bunch of Infect. Wherein Pauper Affinity, the game's a lot more about just playing things that are slightly under costed, putting usually the thing that it does is make a bunch of 4/4s with the cheap Mirror Enforcers and what's the name of that green card? The bear that gets +2/+2 on Metalcraft.
Oh yeah, 2/2 for 1 and a green, Metalcraft +2/+2.
Carapace Forger.
Carapace Forger. Yep. So as we were saying before, Pauper has all of the great setup stuff, all of the great cheap interaction, all that, but the payoffs are pretty lacking, at least in comparison to what exists in.
You have your Days, your Brainstorm, Preordained Ponder. You have your artifact lands. You have all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm pretty sure you have Ornithopter, Memnite.
Memnite is an uncommon.
Okay, so you do have your Ornithopter though, but you have a lot less of those broken payoffs that are so powerful in the modern versions of the deck.
Yeah. Ornithopter was a common in F15, so it's in the format.
And in Mirrodin.
Oh no, wasn't it an uncommon there? No, look it up. It doesn't really matter.
But hey,
no, it was an uncommon in like every set other than M15.
It was in uncommon in 8th Revolt as well. That's interesting.
Yeah, uncommon there, and then M11, M10, 10th Ed, 9th Ed, Mirrodin. Yeah, all the way down. It's all uncommons. Neat. Oh, it was a common in Antiquities as well. I stand corrected. So it's definitely Alright, so it looks like they're shuffling up. Blue-Green Tron's going to keep their hand, and So tonight we're going to be playing with the Magic Online legality list, but we're going to be changing it to the Card Kingdom ban list for the next, for going forward in these tournaments.
For those not familiar, I believe that's all of the only cards that have been printed as commons, both in paper and online, where MTGO is all of the ones that are online and.
So the 4 notable cards there are High Tide, Hymn to Torok, Goblin Grenade, and there's one more that I'm blanking on. Sorry about that. But either way, it's seeming, at least to me, from what I've seen, that the Card Kingdom list is going to be the one going forward that is sticking around.
What we got over here is a start worthy of modern Tron is Ursa's Tower into Chromatic Star, and then playing a Ursa's Power Plant, setting up for Tron, potentially Tron on turn 3.
We've got a game. What am I doing talking about ban lists?
Down over here we have a start not quite worthy of some modern Delver, but it's not looking too bad. He has some pressure in the form of Fairy Miscreants. That was one of those cards that I was talking about. And an Augur of Bolus. Augur of Bolus offers a way to just kind of filter through the deck. Find your most powerful cards, which are your instants and sorceries, counter spells, so on and so forth.
That would be Tron, if I'm right, on the other side of the field. So we can now see what happens when you don't get turn 1 Delver into turn 2 Ponder, setting up more Delvers, which is what happened last game, and the Tron player didn't get to actually do his full setup. Now, this game, we've got Tron on turn 3. Cracking the Expedition map, so he has a color.
A couple of things we might see him play. Mole Drifter.
Just cast Mole Drifter. Resolves. Yeah.
A couple other kind of cards that they play. They play stuff like Fangren Marauder, and those big cards. There's a couple different ones. There's the one that it's a 5/5 for 6, and whenever an artifact is put in your graveyard from the battlefield, you gain 5 life, which helps stabilize against. That helps stabilize against aggressive decks with all these chromatic stars and chromatic spheres that are going to the graveyard.
Yeah, the aggro deck for mono blue is probably it'll at least get slowed down by Moment's Peace, gain 10 life, Moment's Peace, gain 5 life.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly where you want to be on Tron. And so
this Mold Drifter is actually pretty powerful here. It helps hold off the air force. It trades with Delvers. It holds off all these fairy miscreants and Spellstar sprites.
Yep.
And we can see how different last game might have been if there would have been an early Mold Drifter that keeps a couple of those Spellstar sprites from attacking, trades with a Delver, and it lets him set up for the long game.
Yeah. A little closer. Sure. Touch quieter. Okay, sure. Yeah. We're still figuring out exactly where to sit in our room and get all the mic stuff working, but we should be good from here on. So yeah, on the Tron side of the field, he's happy to just have 8 mana and a Mold Drifter in play. I'm guessing we're going to see, I can't see his hand, but I'm guessing he's going to do an end step. I don't know, Forgotten Alchemy. Forbidden Alchemy, something along those lines.
Let's see what we got here. Okay, so our mono blue Delver player.
Let's see. We can see in their hands. Okay, we got an Ulamog's Crusher,
we got Condescend. Oh, we got a little bit of camera movement there.
Yep, just enough glare that it's kind of hard to see.
Yeah, so we got, looks like Condescend, a Moment's Peace.
Either way, he's holding up a decent amount of interaction to deal with whatever ends up being relevant.
All right, and we see. Looks like the mono blue Delver player ends up coming in with the troops.
He's not going to win if he doesn't.
Yeah,
so.
That's true if you let that Mold Drifter block you all game.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's looking like this is the other side of the mono blue Delver deck. It didn't look like he had any Ninja the Deep Hours. Didn't have any Delver of Secrets. Yeah. So it's slightly worse of an aggro plan if that's what you're doing.
Yeah, now it's the turn of the blue-green Tron player, and he's untapping with 8 mana, plays a land, goes up to 10 mana, and gets to resolve this Ulamog's Crusher with a colorless mana floating, notably.
Yes.
Because Tron plus another piece that generates 2 is 9 mana.
Yep.
So we got a response with a Gush. This is a card, 5 mana. You may return 2 islands you control their owner's hand rather than pay its mana cost, and it draws 2 cards. Yep, it's a bounce 2 lands. Which, at first appearance, might seem a little worse, but in actuality is much, much better.
Yeah, because he's got 2 blue mana floating, and so you can Gush, and it looks like he drew Counterspell. There's a Counterspell in hand there, so...
Yeah.
2 mana, bounce 2 lands, draw 2 cards, cast a Counterspell is a pretty good answer to a Crusher.
And with a bunch of cards that don't cost actual mana to cast, like Daze and Gush, and a bunch of Counterspells and Ponders and Preordains.
The way that he played... The way that he specifically played that turn, played around Condescend, which is huge there. Because if he, if he taps out and then plays a counterspell in some way, then the Tron player still had 1 mana floating, so you blue 1, Condescend for 1, get your counterspell, end up with a Crusher.
Exactly.
But Gush into counterspell left up 2 mana, and so he was able to beat the Condescend in hand. Yeah. No, this game would be very different if the board was the exact same, but there was also a Crusher.
Yeah, no
Turns
kidding.
out. Most Magic games end up looking a lot different with Crusher in play, but so it looks like the Delver deck isn't going to have many things to do right here, at least not at sorcery speed. Because remember, I'm sure more than half their deck functions at instant speed.
Yeah, it's only the creatures and the cantrips that are going to be at sorcery speed, and then you're going to want to pass with all kinds of instants up.
Yeah.
And notably, a couple of the creatures, Spellstar Tray especially, which does have the 2 fairies out, so when you play it, it would be able to counter something with converted mana cost 3 or greater.
Yeah,
3 or less. Oh, that would be good.
That would be very good.
Card.
So one of the things that I think the blue-green Tron deck might have problems with And it's looking, at least from what I can see, this might be happening, is it does have the chance of not drawing gas and having a bunch of setup cards in hand. So from what we saw, he's got Pulse and Marasa, which once he untaps his Thornwheel Falls, he'll be able to cast, but currently can't. He's got a Counterspell. He's got he has various interactive parts, but he doesn't actually have anything big to end the game with, which is, I don't know, might be a little bit less than ideal, but it looks like he does have a Pulse and Marasa to get back that Crusher if he wants to.
Which will be pretty good here. It depends on if he wants to. It is an instant, so it depends on if he wants to run that out. Basically, I think in the face of counter magic, he's probably going to try to do that on his opponent's end step to start to tap him out. Because he obviously did have the mana there to tap that Thorn Falls, tap one of those Tron lands, gain 6 life, get back a Crusher, and then he would have enough mana to recast it with actually a mana to spare to play around something like Daze, but he didn't want to get blown out by something like Counterspell in that spot.
And there's no reason to. I mean,
exactly.
Look at this. He's not losing the board. I mean, he's kind of losing the board state, but like it's not.
But they're not attacking.
Yeah, they're not attacking. He's fine for now, at least.
Yeah.
So again, more of the Augur Bolas finding a Counterspell, so that's pretty good. And that's actually huge because I know that Gary has a Spellstutter Sprite in his hand, right? Mm-hmm. Which means he'll be able to respond to the Pulse of Marasa or just the Crusher itself with a Counterspell. Cameron condescends it, and then he has a second counter for that card. Yeah. So if he really wants to fight over this Pulse of Marasa, he should be able to.
But it's not going to end up looking like that this turn because he only has access. The blue player only has access to 2 mana.
Right. No, you're. Yeah. No, that's.
So since he played that Augur Bolas, this is the ideal time to be able to resolve that Pulse of Marasa. Interestingly, though perhaps not surprisingly, he didn't choose to point a counterspell at that Pulse of Marasa. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I actually might have done it in that spot. You guess that your opponent has a Condescend. So the only time I wouldn't counter there would be if I was planning on not playing a counterspell at all during this before my untap step.
And I think he's going to be forced here to counter this Crusher. And he's just going to be met with a Condescend anyway.
If he has a Snap in hand, though, this line makes a lot more sense.
Okay.
Snap is 1 in the blue, bounce a creature, untap 2 lands.
Okay.
So if that's the plan, he'll be able to snap the Crusher, untap, have counter magic for the next time something big happens.
Yeah, but of course, if you were Cameron here, you would probably just as much like to counter that Snap as that counter spell. Yeah.
But, he's then able to untap and have something to do. That is...
Looks like he's playing a...
Oh, wait, is that an Aether Trade Winds? No, that's not. What is... I don't actually know what that card art is. I'm sure it'll get pulled up in just a second, but it looked like he targeted something in play and one of his lands, which may or may not be correct.
I'm pretty sure that's the one that would bounce both of those to their owner's hand.
Oh, that's just a new printing of Snap.
Oh.
Okay.
That's why he didn't tap his lands?
Okay, sure. Yeah. And end step.
Yeah. See, and there's his opponent reminding me, your lands do in fact get tapped for that Snap.
Yes. Okay, that makes sense.
It is not just a free spell. Yeah. They didn't end up tapped because he ended up untapping anyway. But
so yeah, he did the Snap, and then that ended up working out. Sure.
That target of the land was him untapping.
That's interesting. I think it's a lot better there for him to untap with his lands and then play the Snap, because the line he did here gets blown out by Condescend for any amount.
And if you were going to play around that earlier when you didn't counter the Pulse of Marasa, which represented 6 life and the Crusher, actually what could amount to a 2-for-1 in this deck.
On the other hand,
looks like a pretty powerful pair of cards 6 mana cards are being resolved.
Spire Golem. This is a 6 mana artifact that has affinity for islands, costs 1 less for each island in play.
It's a 3/2 flyer, correct?
This side of the battlefield. 2/3, 2/4,
2/4.
Yeah, not a Delver.
3/2 is one of the other ones.
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah. So it looks like it actually passed back to the Tron play. We've they're going pretty quickly through the turns here. Spire Golems, next turn, untap, attack with Crusher, and he sacked 2 of the islands.
Yeah. Another thing to note, those Delvers haven't flipped in a very long time.
It's been like 3 turns, right? 3 or 4 turns, something like that?
Yeah, definitely. Spellstutter Sprite on this Prophetic Prism kind of try to keep Cameron from being able to do that thing where I talked about digging through his deck and fixing his mana. And he's just going to let that get countered.
Okay, so how how's this aggro plan look like on? Let's say the Delvers flip here, right?
Yeah.
1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got 11 power worth of creatures.
Okay, you're both on 23 life.
Yeah. So let's say that's a 3-turn clock, right?
Yeah. If they're blocking,
I mean, he's gonna block with Muldrifter at least once.
yeah, sure.
So it looks like he might be trying to race the Crusher. And see, this is why I would say keep the Snap in hand. So
Well, the thing is, he has those 2 Spire Golems, so he just actually has 10 power and flyers that
4,
don't
6,
just get eaten by that Muldrifter.
14, yeah.
And he just has those extra Augur Boluses to chump.
Yeah.
So he should, in my opinion, just come in here.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's probably going to get beaten in this race by that Moment's Piece in Cameron's hand. Like we said, if that card allows Cameron to land something like a Crusher and then stabilize and win the game.
Oh, yeah. This is where Moment's Peace is probably best. Yeah. Crusher has no Annihilator. So Crusher just gets brick-walled by Augur Balls. Now, of course, the Annihilator 2 trigger is relevant, but, you can sack lands. Who needs lands these days anyway? He's got 2 tap lands here, so he's got 2 lands to sack this turn, and an Augur Bolas to not take damage. Next turn has 2 more lands to sack, not take damage. And he's got 2 3/2 flyers in the air, 2 4s in the air. And he could almost definitely race this Ulamog's Crusher if he chose to. On the other hand, Moment's Peace is a very, very powerful card here. This is exactly where you want it if he plays it, which he may not.
He just put
it's on. I was waiting for him to, play, but
he just kind of slipped in there. He's like, look what's happening.
Yeah.
Not much he can do about it. And if his opponent casts his counterspell here, he can just flash it back.
Yeah. So, Moment's Peace here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's just gain 10.
Yeah. Too bad.
Yeah, and he's then got it in the yard. So he's going end step. Is that end step? There a condescend for the so cast Forbidden Alchemy, response counterspell, response counter it with a condescend. So it looks like Tron is kind of firing on
doing its Tron thing,
man,
really. Being able to kind of start setting up this card selection and really find the things that's going to let it pull ahead in the game. It has an Ulamog's Crush on board, which is basically all Tron can ever ask for.
Yeah.
And it has a Moment's Peace and a Forbidden Alchemy in the graveyard to start flashing back, start generating some card advantage. Doesn't look like he has a black mana source yet. That's where those Prophetic Prisms and Chromatic Stars come in.
Yeah, about 3 turns ago, the Prism got countered by a second Spellstutter Sprite, which is actually quite relevant here.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's
jumping with
sacking 2 lands. I keep thinking he's casting more Gushes when he picks those lands up and puts them in the bin, but now I have another Prophetic Prism coming down. Like I said, going to give him the mana to cast that Forbidden Alchemy from his graveyard if you would like, and just turn those colorless Tron lands into the ability to cast double blue cards like Counterspell if he wants to, or just colored cards in general.
Okay, hear me out here. Here's an idea. How do you feel about keep back your Spire Golems and Delver Secrets and just block the Crusher?
So the problem with that is then your opponent gets to get 2 permanents from you, and then trade their Ulamog Crusher with a Spire Golem and 2 Delver Secrets, which seems like a pretty good trade for them. And if they don't want that to happen, they can always just cast Moment's Peace.
But
I think they would want it to happen.
The thing for me here is there's a Moment's Peace in the yard. There's a Forbidden Alchemy in the yard. Now he's got a Prophetic Prism, so he can cast a Forbidden Alchemy and find more Moment's Peace. Like, he's not going to... This aggro plan is not going to work.
Yeah, that's fair. And... Yes.
It might just be that this is where the mono blue deck ends up losing, and there isn't much to pull him out of it.
Almost inevitably.
Yeah.
It looks like on camera I'm just trying to flash back this Moment's Peace here, and
probably
he can even take this hit in the air twice in a row, and then if he trades with the Delver Secrets, this is a 4-turn clock, even without the Moments piece in his hand and the 2 Moments pieces that will be in the graveyard after this one either resolves or get countered.
And check it out, that one costs 2, right? He could have flashback the other one for 3, but then he's not holding up Condescend for 1 for the counterspell on the other side.
The other thing about this is that also just, if he counterspells it, holds up flashback that same Moments piece.
Yeah. So there's, as we were saying, there's very little that Delver can do once you've got all of that going for Tron.
Yeah, once it's on the battlefield, Delver of Secrets is a significantly weaker card than Nullavox Crusher.
Yeah, funny how that goes. Usually 1-drops are smaller than your standard 8-drops.
You never know.
Yeah.
I've seen some pretty poor creatures in my lifetime.
Yeah, got that scornful egotist. It's going to be worse than a decent number of 1-drops.
Yeah, exactly.
So back to the sideboards, and we're tied up at 1-1. For anyone just joining us, we are doing Pauper. My name's Adam.
And I'm Noble.
Yep, and we are at Pairodice Games up in Bellingham, Washington. And we're going into the third game here. Tron, blue-green, just blue-green, right? I guess splashing for Forbidden Alchemy off the Prophetic Prism, but, it's still just blue-green against Mono Blue Delver. This Mono Blue Delver list looks pretty much the...
Pretty stock.
Pretty stock list, yeah.
We haven't seen any Ninjas of Deep Hours, one of its most powerful cards against Tron, out yet, but I'm guessing that they're in there.
You can't not have them.
Exactly.
Right?
No, that card is phenomenal.
Yeah.
You can also always snap back a ninja to ninjutsu it past a blocker again with a flyer, bounce the flyer again for value.
Oh man, I want to see that happening because that's sweet. Yeah, Ninja of Deep Hours, for those who don't know, it's on the screen now, so I don't even have to really say it. But yeah, ninjutsu is an interesting mechanic where you can bounce an unblocked attacker in order to trade it out for the ninja tapped and attacking.
Yeah, have the ninjas kind of sneak in there, which is especially powerful with these cheap flyers that have enters the battlefield effects.
Yep. Oh man.
Notably Fairy Miscreants and Spell Throw Strikes. You don't really want to be bouncing too many unblocked Delvers if you can help it.
Turns out. I mean, you can do it on turn 1.
Yeah.
Right, or on turn 1 Delver, doesn't flip, get in for 1, and then turn
effectively
it
into a 2/2 haste that will draw cards when it connects.
Yeah, pretty solid.
Pretty powerful.
Yeah. They can even bounce each other, right? I don't know if you're ever doing that, but hey, if that's what you're into, then
yeah, just chaining has
for no value.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that is another thing. Just thought of the when you're going to ninjutsu your guys back and forth, they can also work as protection for the other ones.
So, for example, if we have a situation where a Spellster Sprite attacks for 1, gets a guy ninjutsu'd in, the say a player that actually has removal spells as opposed to this mono blue Tron deck or blue green Tron decks, then you have your ninjutsu creature attack and you put it into play. They're like resolves. Before that hits me, I want to bolt it, and you'll be like, okay, I'll ninjutsu in my other ninja. Yeah, which will save the first one because it removes the target and still gets you for 2.
Yeah, and draws a card.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, the value package there.
You got to be careful about playing removal spells in combat against this mono blue Delver deck.
After
attacks.
Blockers. All right, so we're going into game 3 here. It looks like mono blue Delver will be keeping their 7, and Tron is going to be going down to 6.
Not too much of too big of a deal on the draw, which mono green Tron is. Our blue green Tron is here. Blue green Tron also is one of those decks that, like you saw there, doesn't need all that many cards to beat their opponent once they get ahead on mana.
But that's the trick.
That's
right?
fair. That's fair.
I think that's actually a pretty big deal because mono blue Delver on the play with a 7-card hand. That has a lot of turn 1 Delver days your thing. You can definitely just get them. And if blue green Tron does what happened in game 1, which was they had a tapped land into nothing into cycle a Muldrifter.
Okay,
you're losing that game every single time. And the farther down you mulligan, the more likely that kind of thing happens.
Gary said that he did the same thing yesterday where he snapped without mana up, assuming that you have counter magic up because
the card is essentially free if it resolves. And let the Fatty resolve, snapped it, got the snap countered, and was left facing down on
8/8.
Yeah, exactly. And resolved never to do it again, and then proceeded to do it again today.
Yep.
On camera,
And that might have lost him the game. Obviously, that was a bunch of turns before, and you can't really call that. But
yes,
that's true.
Yeah, but it was an important turn.
Yeah,
at the very least.
Because as ahead as the blue-green Tron deck seemed that game, the thing that if you don't have a threat there, if you don't have pressure, if you're not making the mono blue player do something, eventually they're going to kill you with those Spire Golems through that Mole Drifter.
Yeah. So it's looking like we've got a turn 1 Delver that didn't flip. Oh, that's nice. Turn 1 Delver, didn't flip, but turn 2 Delver Ponder, setting up both of the flips, so next turn he's going 6 in the air. This is exactly the kind of draw that Delver wants every single time.
Yeah. In any matchup, and especially this one. So Prism just got played over here for our blue-green Tron player. Drew a card, and it was passed back.
Did the Delvers not flip?
It doesn't look like they did, but I mean that doesn't seem to matter all too much because he got to get in with a Ninja of Debowers, and we were just talking about how powerful that card is.
I guess it doesn't matter, but I mean, hey, I'll take 2/3/2 flyers on turn 3.
The thing is, if you're light on lands and or threats, then pondering to the top of a Delver or a land is probably pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's revealing a Gush to his Delver, which we assume he knew was there.
He did know who was there, so that's really interesting. So he chose to not flip the Delver, draw the Ninja of the Debowers. So he got 2 less damage in, but ended up drawing a card. No, wait, he didn't because they drew the card off the Ninja. Okay. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, no, he was. That was a Gush from the Gush that he didn't know about that flipped his Delver, and again, it looks like this is pretty much firing on all cylinders for the mono blue Delver deck. This is how you draw it up. Another swing puts Tron at 11, and
yes, Tron is at 11 now. We'll be casting a Brainstorm, which it looks like Cameron doesn't want to interact with. You usually don't want to try to counter those draw spells in against decks like these.
Right. He'll be putting back some number of cards, and this is this Mono Blue Delver's main phase? Oh, that was Cameron's end step. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So he used the Brainstorm to put the same Gush back on top of his library.
Flip the
use it to flip a Delver. Give away as little information as possible and have set up that pretty powerful play.
So we've got 8 damage coming in here. About to collide with a Moment's Piece, which will get counterspelled.
I would imagine when your counterspell says deal 8 to your opponent, draw a card. It's usually the perfect time to cast it.
Yeah.
Here's a question: if you're Gary here and you don't have a counterspell, do you Gush for it? Would you tap 2 lands, float blue, put those lands back in your hand?
I don't think you need to.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree with
Moment's Peace happens, you're still way ahead on the board. They're spending effectively their turn, their mana at least for the turn, to just stall.
To make it clear, Gary doesn't have to do anything else to win this game. He just needs to sit here. If nothing changes, Moment's Peace is not a big part of that. It kills him a turn sooner, but he's still just as dead. Yeah. He did just discard a hand size, so it looks like he's kind of light on lands, which is another reason you don't want to Gush there, because then that puts 4 cards in your hand. You go to 8 cards in hand, or you go from 8 cards in hand to 12 cards in hand. You get to play a land post-combat. If you play that counter spell, then you're still down to 9 cards in hand and have to discard 2.
Yeah, Serrated Arrows.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So,
okay. This is a sweet card.
Yeah, Gary's over here reading it, and we'll get it up on the screen for you. So basically, it comes into play with 3 counters on it. If there are no Arrowhead counters on it, sacrifice it, and then you can remove it, tap, remove a counter to put a -1 counter on a creature. Notably, our Tron player has assembled Tron. That's why he was able to only tap 2 lands to cast that 4-drop.
Yep.
So looks like
okay, so he went end step Spellstutter Sprite, which is really important if he has a second Spellstutter Sprite, because now when he swings in and Gary goes for a Moment's Peace, he can play a second Spellstutter Sprite to counter that Moment's Peace and get a bunch of damage in. Yeah, it looks like they're dealing with
Yeah. So this is a pretty. I forget what our Tron player is at. I believe it's 11.
It's 11. Yep.
And so this is an attack looking for 9. So not quite lethal, not a disaster. This Moment's Piece gets countered, and the thing about this Moment's Piece is it'll let this serrated arrows. One, it actually interferes with that play you were talking about earlier.
No, you're right.
Letting that Spellstar Sprite counter the Moment's Piece. It'll no longer have enough fairies.
Yeah.
And begins to tick away at Gary's board, which looks like at this point it'll probably be cashed in to kill a ninja or a delver. Once again, he's casting that Moment's Piece from his hand with a mana floating from that Urza's Tower, so that he has Condescend up.
That's true.
Which is pretty big here. The 1 mana discount he gets from casting the copy in his hand.
So it's actually, we're getting a really interesting combination of games here, because game 1 looked basically like this game, but instead of Tron pieces, he had normal basic lands. In game 2, we got to see him do the whole Tron thing, play Crusher, Condescend, do the whole thing. In this game, we're back to game 1, where he's falling behind. He's got a bunch of things to. He's got a bunch of dinky little Prophetic Prism, Moment's Piece, that kind of thing. But he has Tron, and so he's able to actually piece together enough interaction and survivability to
and the key here is that his opponent's stuck on 2 lands. He's playing 1, maybe 2 spells on his turn, whereas the Cameron over here is being able to play that Serrated Arrows and play a Moment's Piece and start answering threats and continue getting ahead with stuff like Serrated Arrows.
Yep. And here we see, it looks like we just went for I was thinking this earlier, might end up happening. Gush bounce the lands because he's going to get to play them again, right?
Yeah.
If he's not playing the 8th and 9th card in his hand, then it doesn't really matter that they're there.
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah.
And since he misses a land drop, bouncing one of the lands isn't a cost at all, because he just gets to replay it untapped too, so it can generate mana.
Yes.
If you have 2 lands, you can tap them both, gush back, play a land, and play a 3-drop.
Oh gosh, you're so silly.
Although the 3-drop that this deck's play, Spire Golem, isn't actually playable after you do that. And you actually see it go to the bin here.
Yeah. We've
to answer the chat, it looks like we have 5 people here at the tournament tonight. So not the largest showing, but
enough to fire tournament and get some good games
for
in.
Pauper tournament. Hopefully get some interest from the local scene. Show everybody. People watching the stream, if you live in town, definitely bring a Pauper deck. They're not expensive. That's kind of the point. And bring them down and get some games in.
We've also got a couple players, myself included, who have extra Pauper decks and we can lend. I mean, I would love to lend out a Pauper deck or two to bring a tournament up to 8, 12, 16 people.
Just here to see some Magic get played.
Oh yeah, that's the point after all, right? That's why we play Magic to
play it.
To play
the Magic. Okay, so we have that Ulamog's Crusher again. With this time with the mana up to be able to counter back with a Condescend. So it looks like if he has it,
he's got 3 mana and turn 1 of it into blue, so we can Condescend X equals 2.
X equals 1 because this is a mine.
1, 2. Oh, that's a mine. Sorry, looks like a tower. Seeing as there's a
tower.
There's a tower in the
tower.
Art. Yeah, no, you're right.
That's how they get you. The strong players. So this Condescend's letting him scry 2 because once again he didn't have the mana to pay for that because he had he gushed his own lands back to his hand last turn,
countering the end step Vapor Snag.
Yes.
What this does mean is you got Narcolepsy right there. 1 in a blue enchantment, enchant target creature. ETB tap the creature. No, it doesn't.
Each upkeep.
Each upkeep tap it. Yeah, so it doesn't actually tap it now, which means his ninja doesn't get in. But as long as nothing else, as long as Cameron doesn't interact with it very much, the Crusher's pretty much out of it.
I think what he wants to do here is Serrated Arrows one of those Delvers, and then the Serrated Arrows will be able to kill the Delver next turn.
Serrated Arrows is doing some decent work here.
Yeah, Serrated Arrows is usually better if you get it to the point where the Delvers haven't flipped yet, and you can just start gunning them down.
As it turns out.
2 counters off the Serrated Arrows, 2/3 of it for a Delver over multiple turns.
Yeah.
Is good. It kills the Delver, but it's not quite where you want to be in terms of tempo.
Yeah. I'll take it over not having a Serrated Arrows, though.
That's very true.
We get a tap land gaining 1 life, which is pretty sweet.
Cameron Wallback back up to 7.
So let's see. Is he dead on board? He does have a decent amount of moments pieces in the yard, so only the one green source off that prison. So if this moments piece gets countered, and he, obviously if Cameron doesn't have interaction for that, then it's looking like the match goes to Gary. Of course, I'm not going to count anyone out for having interaction. Again, Pauper has...
Especially when that person has 10 mana in play.
Well, yeah, but it's all 10 colorless mana.
Sure, but he has that prophetic prism, so he can...
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Also, that's just 6, so...
well, he's at 7 now because of that Thorn of Falls.
Yeah,
so.
that Thorn of Falls got...
Oh, you mean just 6 as in...
Yeah.
6. So Moments Piece is gonna...
Yeah.
Gain 3 life. Cameron said about his serrated arrows, berries on upkeep, which, for those not familiar, is the old card text that means that a card is put into the graveyard.
Yeah, there's...
Does berry also say can't regenerate it?
It does, I believe? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So serrated arrows is one of those cards where... When was it printed? It was printed quite a while ago, and... Homeland... Yeah, Homelands, I think. It does a really cool thing that is very easy to understand what it does when you step back and think about it, but in terms of actual card text is just a complete mess.
So the thing we missed here, we had a Dispel get pointed at a flashback Moments Piece, which leads to that Moment Piece still being exiled. And then we have our blue-green top player play another land. I'm not actually sure what that one does.
Is that a Transguild Promenade?
No, because it didn't enter tapped.
Or not the one? It's one of the filter lands, right?
Oh, it's just a Shimmering Grotto.
Shimmering Grotto.
Okay,
that makes sense.
It looked a little wonky from with the glare here.
For what it's worth, that was what I was thinking of when I said Transguild Promenade. So yeah.
Hey, it's a Shimmering Grotto, which does make it harder to see.
Use special sleeves to make it glint in the light.
Yeah. So we got a Mystical Teaching here. This is a powerful Pauper card.
That is very powerful.
4 mana, instant speed. Search your library for an instant card or card with flash. Reveal it and put it in your hand. Then shuffle your library, and it flashes back for 6. So this is a tutor that's also card advantage with enough mana, which our Tron player has in abundance.
Yeah. And in the meantime, there are 2 counter spells on the stack. I'm not sure exactly where the stack is
dealing
right
with
now.
This Moments Piece. Yeah, we have
So what is it? Is it Moments piece, response
counterspell, mystical teachings, counterspell.
Great.
I believe the actual card counterspell. If I'm not mistaken.
No, they were 2 actual counterspells. They just got.
So then he's going to respond here by playing Pulse of Marassa,
gaining 6.
Yeah,
importantly gaining 6.
And I don't think he has anything to return. I actually believe he's returning. Oh, Pulse of Marassa needs a target to be cast, but it doesn't have to target a card in your graveyard. So
beautiful.
He's putting one of his opponent's cards back in their hand
to gain
just
6.
to be able to gain 6 and not be dead here.
Yeah.
And notably,
and go to 1.
Yeah, notably that Mystical Teachings does have flashback,
no.
so he can flashback. He has the mana to flashback Mystical Teachings, and then find a Moments Piece, cast a Moments Piece.
That does it. That doesn't do much other than make him not literally lose the game on the spot.
Hey,
but that's better than nothing. It's definitely better than nothing. And he has like 1 billion mana. That's enough, right?
He'll be casting a Ghostly Flicker here, which blinks 2 target permanents.
That's pretty
let
good.
him draw a card off his Prophetic Prism and free his Olmos Crusher from that Narcolepsy.
2 in a blue, get rid of the Narcolepsy draw card. I'd play
especially
that.
because it blocks this Ninja and this Augur on the ground.
Yeah.
Which I believe he's still at 7. Because he gained 6.
He gained 6, right?
It's potentially that he's at 1 right now. He's at 1 because there was a. So he was at 7. He got hit to 1 because one of Moment's Piece got countered, and then Pulse of Marassa took him back up to 7, and he got hit for 6 again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got a 3/2 in the air, and as far as I can tell, no flying blockers. Oh, does he have a Moments Piece in the yard? It looked like there were 2 that were flashback exiled.
There are 2 that are exiled.
Yeah, but as far as I can tell, there isn't a thing that he's got. Pulse in the yard as well.
Yeah, he has Mystical Teachings. He can flashback Mystical Teachings.
Right. Okay. Yep.
Find his Pulse. Find his
Moment's Peace, because that is an instant.
Yep.
And put Moment's Peace in his hand and play it again.
Oh, the things you can do with 12 colorless mana.
For real.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alternate. Yep.
Mystical Themes is a card advantage tutor for the low price of 11 mana and being able to have the time to play it, flash it back, and being wanting to find 2 instants, which are all things that this blue-green Tron deck can do.
Yeah. Man, this is this is a pretty sweet deck. This blue-green Tron. It does a lot of things.
Yeah. Not quite blue-green Sprout Storm, but what is?
So
he's casting back this. He's doing all of this after block. So he's already declared Ulamog's Crusher as a blocker, I believe, on Ninja Devours.
Yes.
And is then finding this Moment's Peace and casting it.
I wonder if this will be good enough. And does he have any more mana floating? He might. He very well might.
He has.
I didn't actually count.
Grotto.
Yeah, but if he had, if he had another 3 mana, one of it being green, he could even let this be countered and then flash it back.
Yes.
But not sure. That just happens. Okay.
So he's bouncing his Augur Bolts here. It doesn't actually do anything damage-wise.
But lets him cast another Augur Bolas.
Exactly. Instead of having to cast that 4-drop Ninja from his hand, he gets to pay 2 mana, get the Ninja straight into play, and play another Augur Bolas, revealing, I believe that was a Daze, unless I'm crazy.
Maybe.
No, it was a Preordain.
Okay, yeah.
It was the...
Yeah, there's the art. Man, Moment's Peace is really just been just the name of the game here.
The most important card.
For this entire matchup.
There have just been 6+ times where he's just dead on board. And Moment's Peace is what's keeping him alive. Oh, double Spire Golem because he has 6 islands in play.
Okay.
Here's the thing though. Moment's Peace doesn't really care how many cards or creatures Gary has in play. It always does the same thing. So, it doesn't look like he's going to need a substantial amount of attacks here to be able to get to the point where Gary has to start sacking creatures and lowers his clock at all. He is at 1. But it's possible that another Pulse of Marassa here, something like that, could actually get him.
So he's going to have to play and crack this Chromatic Star to draw a card, hoping he has...
Floating probably a blue or green, I'd guess.
Not red?
No. Seagate Oracle. That's a blocker. That means legit. That Crusher only needs... No, it still needs 6 attacks to stop making this lethal.
So, I mean, yeah, he's playing cards, he's getting cards, everything's going great, he gets some Moment's Peace, he's not dead on board.
Exactly.
But he's at 1 against 6 attacking creatures.
Since he's at 1, the power and toughness of the attacking creatures doesn't matter all that much.
Exactly.
It's just the fact that there are 6 of them. And he's going to need 6 blockers if he's going to stay into it. We haven't seen Blue-Green Tron play any removal spells.
Not yet.
Any actual ways to permanently get rid of a creature, and we haven't even seen any bounce.
Yeah.
A deck might play a couple of repeal, something like that.
Yeah, that would make sense. Interestingly enough, we're down to 30 seconds on the clock, which is relevant because Blue-Green Tron might not be able to stabilize and then also win the game here.
Yeah, because it looks like that Ulamog's Crusher got chumped by a Moment's Peace. So here we see Spellstutter Sprite is countering that Moment's Peace, and then in response we have a...
I do not know that.
I think that might be Repulse. No, yeah. that was a Repulse.
Countering the Spellstutter.
Yeah. Or exclude, that's what
sure.
I meant. Yeah. Counter target creature spell, draw a card.
Yep. Not that it ends up mattering, because Counterspell into Counterspell is pretty good in order to deal with interaction.
Yeah.
And that attack puts Cameron down to -5, thus making Gary Goki, right? Gary Goki?
Yep.
The winner. So yeah, there's round 1, finishing right on the timer.
Looks like we'll have probably 2 more rounds of coverage for you tonight, and we'll probably get those up and going in the next couple minutes. So the players are going to go report. They're going to finish up sorting out their deck, and we're going to get reported for them, and then we'll be back with some more Pauper.
Yeah, I would imagine that the rest of, at least most of the rest of the other people are are done with their rounds, and we'll be figuring out the next thing. So, yeah, we'll be back in a couple minutes with the second round of Pauper. Just gotta, do some upkeep stuff between rounds, and we'll see you in a moment. All right.
Looks
and
like we're back.
we are back indeed.
We got our reigning champion defending his seat, Gary Goki on Mono Blue Delver. Wait a minute.
It's gonna be.
I think he is still there.
It's Gary Goki on Mono Blue Delver against Ryan Roberts on Izzet Blitz, which was requested in chat. So whoever ended up doing that, here's your thing. We kind of have a water bottle in the way. If that could get
That would be great.
Perfect.
Thanks.
All right, so.
Kind of cool. We get to say stuff like that. It just happens,
right? Welcome back. This is the Pairodice Games Round 2 Pauper tournament. My name's Adam,
and I'm Noble.
And
we'll
here
be
we
casters for tonight.
Going into round 2. So we're again at least in my mind, the story of Pauper is amazing cards, very little payoff. Here's a wonderful example of that being true for both players, but both players having a cheap but very, very powerful payoff. So we saw Mono Blue Delver last time. Delver of Secrets is a powerful card, right? Yeah. That's what you're winning the game with.
Spire Columns, Ninja to the Deep Hours, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Slightly less powerful, but still pretty good.
On the other side, though, Izzet Blitz. Now, this is a cool deck. Do you know how Izzet Blitz works?
Yeah, I think so, but if you could run me through it, that'd be great.
So there's two cards. One of them is Kiln Fiend, one of them is Nivik Cyclops. Both of them it's a 2-drop and a 3-drop, respectively. And they say, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, this creature gets +3/+0.
Except Nivik Cyclops, which is a 1/4 with Defender, and when it gets +3/+0, it also loses Defender.
Yeah. Point is, you get one of those guys down, Kiln Fiend or Nivik Cyclops, play like 4 instant or sorceries, and suddenly they're huge and kill you in one turn.
Okay, this is interesting. So what we had happen here, our Izzet Blitz player was on the play. They played a Preordain. Then their opponent played a Delver of Secrets. It got dazed by our Izzet Blitz player. And then our Izzet Blitz player got to tap, no lands in play land, play Delver on their second turn.
Yep.
So we have our Delver, wherever Izzet Blitz player over here out Delvering our Delver player.
It's like they
missed a Delver trigger, but
in the end it'll
hopefully not matter.
Yeah.
Interesting interaction here with Terramorphic Expanse and that Delver.
Yeah.
This is something that could come up, but probably won't, is that on his upkeep he gets to see what the top card of his library is, and then we have a chance to shuffle it away as kind of a scry effect.
Yep.
The problem with that as opposed to Modern is your fetch land to put your basics into play tapped, which isn't ideal.
There's a couple interesting things you can do. So, Ash Barrens is a card. It's a land that taps for 1 and it has basic land cycling for 1. Mm-hmm. He could see what the top card is with Delver, and similarly to what you just said, he could basic land cycling the Ash Barrens to shuffle away if he doesn't want it. Not that that's necessarily happening, but it could. I'm pretty sure that the Izzet Blitz player is going to spend some decent amount of time, maybe not as much as he can, but a couple turns trying to set up and make sure he has enough interaction so that when he wants to play his threat, whatever happens to be, Kiln Fiend, Nivik Cyclops, then he'll have enough dazes and
exactly.
dispels and stuff to survive the
We have our mono blue Delver player over here setting up a little bit of a loss of card advantage with that Vapor Snag, but gaining in tempo, being able to keep that Delver Secrets off the battlefield. So our Blitz player goes into his third turn, plays an island for turn, another one of those Amonkhet full art lands. I like the style.
Oh, I like him too.
And tries to re-resolve that Delver. This is going to prompt a Spell Surge Right from our mono blue Delver player, which will counter it because it has converted mana cost 3 or less.
Yep.
But this is contingent on two things. One, of course, the Spell Surge Right has to resolve. But two, if our Izzet Blitz player had a lightning bolt that could bolt the Spell Surge Right in response, and when the trigger resolved, it would see 0 fairies.
Yep.
But something much more exciting happened. We got to resolve our Kiln Fiend. And as we were talking about before,
this is what matters.
This is what matters. That Delver is only getting in for 3 points, 6 points, 9 points over the course of the game. This can deal all 20 in one swing, no problem.
Yep. I was actually talking with Ryan before the tournament a little bit, and he just put in a couple Delver secrets to help with a couple a couple things here and there. One of those
matchups, the removal deck, stuff like that.
Exactly, and it's interesting that this is this is a matchup where it wasn't exactly meant to be for this matchup, but it's still pretty good. Hey,
especially it prompted, like we said, he that's kind of his tech is playing those Delvers, which prompted Gary to, when he played his Delver on turn 2, exclaim, "That deck doesn't play Delver."
Yep.
As if it stopped the fact that a Delver was resolving against him, which is not quite how that works.
I mean, hey, Days Island Delver looks like the mirror match, even though it isn't.
I'm pretty sure our friend over here, Gary, knows what Ryan is on before the.
I would imagine.
Yeah. Okay, so they have a resolved Kiln Fiend over here, and Ninja the Deep Powers that managed to get in for 2 and drawing a card. But seeing as Mono Blue Delver has very limited removal options and mostly counter spells as a way to interact, it's actually not that great against his Kiln Fiend because all of the pumping is triggers.
And
it looks like Gary drew his 2 cards with Gush, said, "Oh, not good," and then passed the turn back. Probably insinuating that he's not going to have a Vapor Snag and might just die to this Kiln Fiend.
He drew 3 cards this turn, which is good, except when you're dead.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter when you're dead. And, I mean, for those who haven't seen this Izzet Blitz deck play out, we're looking at 1 creature and 3 mana. That doesn't usually mean, oh, I'm dead. But with the advent of Phyrexian mana, we got our Phyrexian Metamorphs, we got our Gataxian Probes, we have our thing. You can easily just play, pay 2 life, pay 2 life, pay 2 life.
So we had an Nivik Cyclops 3-drop being cast, and a response of a counterspell.
Which is actually really interesting. Because if you're going up against this deck, they don't have a blocker, you have 4 mana, I feel like this is where you might try to go for the kill. But he chose to play the Nivik Cyclops instead to
Possibly doesn't have it, but look at this.
He probably doesn't have it, yeah. Might not have it.
I don't know, look at this. He's going to be able to attack for 4 already. He just played the Gush, this match's favorite free spell, and attack for his 4. Probably another one for combat. Yep, Mutagenic Growth is going to hit him for another 6, which just in one shot there, halving his opponent's life total.
Just 5, right? 3 off the Kiln Fiend, 2 off the Growth.
Yeah, but he played a Gush. That's an additional 3. That's 7.
Right.
Okay, 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
So it's interesting. I mean, it might just be that Nivik Cyclops is drawing out the counterspell, which it did, but the plan might have just been all along to have that Nivik Cyclops be counterspelled.
And what he really wanted to resolve, I'd imagine, is that Gush there to dig deeper in his deck and pump his thing. He doesn't really care about the Mutagenic Growth. Even if it gets countered, it's still pumping 3.
Yes. Interesting deck. I really like the Izzet Blitz deck.
Yeah,
it has a lot of ways that you can navigate the matchup and is quite skillful. Shows off a lot of skill. So over on the Mono Blue Delver side, we have a swing for 2, draw a card, and looks like he drew a Vapor Snag. So that's great. Good. He's not
exactly what he needs.
Exactly what he needs.
Is some of his copies of, I believe, 4 copies of Vapor Snag.
Of course, now he also needs to, I would think, either hold up a counterspell or establish pressure. Because if you're just bouncing the Kiln Fiend and you don't have either of those things, you're probably not winning that game.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to draw cards, get in,
but your opponent has got you down to 10, and
So he chose to play a Delver of Secrets.
it's also possible that he could have left up Counterspell here and just decided to get that threat on the board. His opponent is at 12.
I like establishing the threat.
Yeah, exactly, because while those Phyrexian spells don't cost any mana, they do cost life. And so being able to pressure them is a really powerful way to kind of beat this deck on that axis.
Now this is interesting. Ryan decided to play the Kiln Fiend before playing a land, which doesn't play around days, which is definitely a thing that Mono Blue Delver has available to it. I'm not sure if that was intentional, that was all part of the grand plan, but that might have been a chance for Gary to bounce his tapped island, play a daze, counter the threat, and then suddenly we're golden.
Far ahead, yeah.
Either way, back to Gary, play a land, swing for 2, draw a card.
Kiln Fiend does block the card Delver of Secrets.
Yes, yes it
before
does.
it is Insectual Aberration.
Doesn't block Insectile Aberration as well.
No.
I mean, I guess you can cheat and say it has flying, but even then...
Hey Gary, play a spell that gives it flying.
Yeah.
Fly. Isn't that a spell?
Flight.
Flight.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a common.
It
you
is.
can play that in
That
Pauper.
card is legal in this format.
Yeah. Oh, that's the new tech.
Flight. Does that card draw a card as well?
I don't believe it does.
I think, is it Jump?
Isn't... I mean, there's
Okay, we
probably
can
10 different versions of that. Anyway, not the point. You know, I just noticed Gary has multiple different arts for his preordains.
Yeah.
Oh man,
How do you feel about that one?
I am not a big fan of that one.
Yeah.
But that's just me being yeah. Of course, I can't really complain. I have 4 different brainstorm prints.
Yeah, but that's a stylistic.
That is a stylistic choice. So, yeah. Either way, definitely not the relevant part of this game at all. So,
looks like not much happened. There's some counterspells played, and another Kiln Fiend looks like it's resolving, which actually means this first Kiln Fiend can get in for 1 without having to be afraid of that Delver of Secrets.
yeah.
Punch in there. That card does not die to a 1/1. Every point counts, especially when 9 is...
Thank you very much for bringing up all of the brainstorm printings.
Yeah.
There are a lot of them, and a lot of them are quite pretty.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting because it looks like this is a threat-heavy hand from Izzet Blitz, because they play what 8 threats and the 3 Delver Secrets because Ryan is being spicy.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're drawing 3 of them, that is
4 actually. 2 Kiln Fiends, the Delver and the Cyclops.
Yeah, but I mean 3 out of the 8 that are like, actually big. That's a lot, which does mean you're not drawing
your spells to trigger your threats.
You got 4 lands, 3 threats. That doesn't leave that much room for mutagenic growth, Temur Battle Rage.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever you're planning on doing.
He does have a good amount of cards in hand. It actually looks like, I think that's another Nifix Cyclops in his hand, which...
Is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
The 4th threat is not great here.
Yeah.
That card does block this Ninja of the Deep Hours pretty well, which is nice.
Yeah, 1/4 defender, that would block a 2/2 all day.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see, which I might have preferred, if you're not playing around days, I might have preferred being able to resolve that Nifix Cyclops here, just for that exact reason, is that it blocks this Ninja of the Deep Hours. Right now, Izzet Blitz is leaving up a Dispel, but I struggle to see how relevant that'll be against this deck with these. Okay.
Okay, well, Spire Golem is a powerful magic card, and he's got 3 of them.
He just voted 3 mana, just put 3 in a row on the table.
Yeah.
Because he has 5 lands, and that card does cost 1 mana.
So Ryan's at 8, right? We're starting to get to the point where if Ryan doesn't string together the right amount of unblockable damage, he might just die to this 2-power onslaught.
And here's the thing. So a lot of his ways to get through creatures doesn't get through that, because Apostle Blessing, while it can give protection from artifacts, you would need 2 to give a protection for artifacts and protection from blue.
Yep. There is what's it called? Blue mana, target creature gets unblockable until end of turn, flashback for blue. Right?
Yes.
Something like that.
That is the card text. Not quite sure what it's called.
Yes. Whatever that happens to be, I'm pretty sure Ryan's playing at least 1 copy of it. So, if he draws that, then, great.
Oh, it looks like the Izzet Blitz player... this is without a spell to trigger
Yeah, another
is kind of rough. So he's just putting his Spellstutter Sprite into play at the end of turn. Yep.
So,
and it's looking like this is going to be, if the Delver flips, definitely lethal, and if not, is going to put Ryan 2-3.
Yeah, I mean, the game plan is play a bunch of small guys, hit you with them, and it's looking like this is getting close to it being good enough.
So he's going to bolt a Delver here, because like we said, if that card flips, it is what would do him in.
And he wants to do it there, as opposed to waiting to see whether it flips, because now we've got 5 mana, there could be a counter spell in hand. You don't want to open yourself up to...
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, he's got that card that I was talking about earlier, called Artful Dodge from Innistrad. No, from Dark Ascension? No, Dark Ascension is to say what? Yeah, somewhere around there.
I believe it's from Innistrad.
Pretty sure it's from Innistrad.
Go with your gut now.
Yep. Dark Ascension. Okay, it's Dark Ascension. I was, yeah. Anyway. So, we've got, again, 3 2-power flyers, a 1-power flyer, and the ninja that is never getting through.
But 2 more Spellstutter Sprites in his hand.
Yeah,
is
so
huge.
Gary's hand is Spellstutter Sprite, and...
Augur of Bolus, and whatever this Augur of Bolus... Well, the Augur of Bolus on a stack and resolving.
Yeah, it looks like it's
trigger.
a Ponder?
Yeah. So, that's a pretty powerful hand, especially because those Spellstutter Sprites, the first one can counter a 2-drop, and the second one can counter a 3-drop. That is a Temur Battle Rage and another threat that can get dealt with.
Not even the threat. It's, I mean, well, yes, the threat, but maybe both of those could counter both sides of an Artful Dodge, or
for example.
Yeah, or 2 Apostles' Blessings.
Yeah, Artful Dodge is especially powerful in this deck because the flashback counts as a second spell, so 1 Artful Dodge on your 1 Kiln Fiend is just 7 damage.
Yeah. And then if you've got 2 Kiln Fiends, you can Artful Dodge one, Artful Dodge the other. Both of them get +6/+0. Turn them sideways, kill your opponent real dead.
Yeah, but it looks like that's not going to happen here, as those Kiln Fiends do not have enough spells to be able to attack our Mono Blue Delver player.
And as powerful as the Ponder, Preordain, Brainstorm, Gush packages, I think Ryan said he's got 14 dig spells in his deck, all things considered. If Pauper is known for having those great, 1-drop, the filtering cards, but sometimes you just draw. The deck is built to draw 1 threat and a bunch of instants of sorceries.
Yeah,
and so sometimes you just don't. Yeah, which is kind of funny. That's the downside of playing this as a Blitz deck, because other hands you just don't draw a threat, and then you can't. You can't ever kill them.
Yeah, and where you want to be is those majority of the draws that are in the middle, where you just have a threat, have 2 to 3 spells, and that card gets very large very quickly.
Hopefully it's a majority. Otherwise, you might be having some problems.
Deck might not be particularly playable.
So thinking back on, we saw at least part of Gary's sideboard before, right? We saw some gut shots. We saw some annuls. Dispel, right?
Dispel seems pretty good here. It interacts with Temur Battle Rage on the stack and Artful Dodge, which I believe is an instant.
It is. I really like Dispel here. Don't think I like Gut Shot. What do you think?
Yeah, no. There's the only thing that hits your opponent is 3 Delvers, which he might be taking out anyway.
Or 2 Gut Shots hits a Kill Fiend.
Yeah,
for
but
value.
That's 4 life, has to dodge mutagenic growth, and is a 2-for-1. I think I'll pass.
So good. Yeah, no, that's not what you're looking for here.
The Izzet Blitz deck, however, will board in every copy of Gutshot it has. That card kills Delver on turn 1, it interacts with Spellstutter Sprite's trigger, and it can actually just go to the face, and if there's an unblocked Kill Fiend, that card is 2 life, 4 damage.
Yeah.
Which is quite a rate.
Yeah, that's what you're looking to do.
My Modern Burn deck will play that card.
Your what deck?
Modern Burn deck.
Modern Burn. I heard Mono Burn. Yeah, no,
Oh yeah, no.
What else do you think is in the Izzet Blitz sideboard? I'm sure there's a list. You can go online and look up a list and all that.
But I'm pretty sure they would play some more counter spells. They're gonna have some dispels. You can't run too many of that card main deck because you kind of run into decks where that card's just useless.
Like Mono Green Stompy. That kind of thing.
The only thing that card interacts with in that deck is Vines of the Vassal, I think.
If it even. Yeah, no, you play Vines. It also plays Groundswells, so there's some amount of.
Yeah, but
it's not great.
Not ideal. Yeah, exactly. And then, especially interesting enough, mono black control decks will often have the vast majority of their cards be sorceries.
Yep.
Chain or edicts. Board wipes, stuff like that.
Got your, how do you pronounce it? Oubliette? Yeah, that's an enchantment. So
Yeah, exactly.
there's a lot of things that Dispel doesn't hit. But Dispel, perfectly suited for the mono blue mirror.
Yeah, fighting those counter wars, being able to interact with those Vapor Snags seems exactly where both these decks want to be.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks like we're going into game 2 here at Pairodice Games. Was it Wednesday Night Modern? Wednesday Night Pauper. Yeah, almost got the day wrong too, so that's not great. We also do Thursday Modern and Friday Standard, and Monday Legacy as well. So there's
that's 4 days a week that we're having.
That's 4 days a week that we get a chance to play some Magic. 3 of them Eternal, which is my favorite preferred way to play Magic. And our last Legacy event here actually had 13 players, which is pretty impressive for being able to have a nice tournament. I'm
a big Legacy fan, and seeing all these Delvers and Ponders being resolved is. I greatly appreciate it.
You got to go play in that Monday Night Legacy.
Oh yeah, and I'm going to be playing in the next one as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Format is great. 10 proxies are allowed, so you don't have to buy all of the forces and things that you.
So the proxies that we're allowing for the Legacy event must be printed. They can be black and white printed, but they must be like actually printed with a printer, not just
no throwing those scribbled on pieces of paper into your card sleeves.
And as it turns out, 10 proxies will get most modern decks pretty close to a Legacy deck if you really want them to.
Definitely. Yeah. Just grab your Death Shadow decks, throw in Force of Wills and a couple Underground Seas to not hit you for damage, and that deck is very real.
Yeah, Grixis Death Shadow or Blue Black Death Shadow in Legacy is legit. It does still play Watery Grave to hit yourself.
Yeah.
I think it
plays a mix.
Last I saw was 2 Underground Sea, 2 Watery Grave, which is
neither of those cards are legal in this format, so it looks like we're starting a game, and we'll get back on the Pauper.
Oh man, I'm down to see some Legacy here.
Both players notably mulliganed and kept on 6.
Yes.
Who do you think a mulligan favors? I have to say the mono blue Delver, right? Because the Izzet Blitz decks really needs that like we saw last. Ooh.
Yeah. Okay. Electrickery. Now that is a powerful magic.
Wait a minute. Looks like he tapped the red and the blue, then just the blue. If we can get him to tap that red land, I think. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, okay. So, Electrickery, 1 damage to target creature you don't control, and Overload for 2.
Cost of this, I am sure.
Yeah, so the whole point of this is to kill the Delver, kill as many Delvers as you can hit, Fairy Miscreant, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly those fairies that we're talking about. Can you imagine this in response to a Spell Surge Sprite while wiping out multiple?
Oh man, Electrickery is a very, very powerful magic card.
And one of the most important sideboard cards in Pauper.
Yes.
The creatures that are common are a lot more often 1/1s than in other formats. So,
but it got hit with a Dispel, right?
Yep.
Or did it?
No, it's not.
Never mind.
The Electricity got played.
They're talking about the Vapor Snag, the Delver trigger, figuring out how that whole thing works. Oh, I see. The Vapor Snag was revealed on
to the trigger.
To the trigger.
So what happened is our blue-red player Ryan did want to respond to the trigger, and our opponent kind of hastily looked at it and revealed it and would have triggered it. There was that was an inappropriate shortcut. He needed to give his opponent a chance to play that Electrickery, and we kind of just reround to there. The Vapor Snag is no information. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
But that's why that ruling was slightly off.
Yeah. I mean, either way, the Delver ends up dead, and that's all that Ryan really cares about there. And it looks like he has
Eldrazi Sky Spawner.
That is okay. That's sweet.
That's some sick tech.
2/1 for 3 flyer ETB. Make a 1/1 Eldrazi Scion creature token.
All kinds of spice coming out of our friend Ryan over here. That card is quite good when your opponent's playing 3/2 and 1/1 flyers.
Oh, that's great.
And 1/1 removal spells. Especially when the removal spell is Vapor Snag, that will just trade for a card and leave a Scion behind. Which is
awesome.
Yeah.
That's great, yeah.
Huh.
Okay, sweet.
I really got what was going on in this art, to be honest with you.
What's flying Eldrazi dude?
Yeah, with a sack and
yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah. It's an Eldrazi. Let's move on with that one.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Okay, so Gary plays his preordained. Little card selection going on. Now pass back to the Blitz player. We have a Ponder. Gary thought for a second about that, but you really don't want to be counterspelling those cantrips. They improve your deck by a couple percentage points over the course of a game, but they really are not the kind of impactful things you need to save your counterspells for in this matchup.
Yeah.
Which, namely, often just hits their threats because its Blitz, like we talked about, is so threat light. They often you just want to save your counterspells and daces for a threat or two, maybe a team or battle rage, and be able to race them by keeping their threats off the board.
Yeah. You will notice, though, that it looks like Ryan might not have a Kiln Fiend or Nivic Cyclops, which is kind of the point of the deck.
I don't know. Eldrazi Sky Spawner does kind of beat down in the air. So we saw a Delver that resolved, and then a second Delver that got countered by a Spellstar Sprite.
Yeah, I'm not sure that the Sky Spawner beats down in the air so much when you got a Fairy Miscreant just kind of sitting there.
That's fair. But hey, trading without Fairy Miscreant means additional Fairy Miscreants will not draw Gary cards, which...
That's relevant. That is quite relevant. Yeah. So, going back to Gary, going back to Ryan, they're just kind of biding their time playing cards that, try to dig them through their deck, trying to find exactly which threats they need. Yeah. So, well, I mean, they're both just kind of waiting around trying to find their threats.
Which is what blue cantrip decks often do. They get to this point where neither of them has a board advantage, kind of just sitting, waiting for one of two things to happen. One of them to find a threat, or for Ryan's Delver to flip to kind of force some action.
Yes.
So he's going to attack here. He doesn't really mind the trade. Like we said, they both make other Spellstar Sprites worse, training with either of them, and will make future Fairy Miscreants worse. Oh, and he's getting with the Delver. So if I'm Gary here, I'm probably looking to trade off for that Sky Spawn and that Delver. But looks like he decided to take it. I don't know how I feel about that. It obviously depends on what's in Gary's hand.
If he has another Spell Stutter, then...
Yeah, if he has either Spell Sputter or some way to block. He's not winning this damage race. It is 4 versus 2.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We've got ourselves a race on our hands.
He's only going to make this play if he has something up his sleeve, which from the mono blue player I would expect nothing less.
Okay, so picture he has a Brainstorm in hand, right? End step Brainstorm, put back a thing, flip the Delver. Now you've got 5 power in the air.
Yeah, that's
win that
problem.
race. But
Gary, you mean?
Yeah, Gary wins that race.
Yes.
Looks like Ryan's
interesting.
Delver.
Last turn he was happy to trade the Delver with either of the flying creatures, but he doesn't want to trade Delvers in this spot. Either that means he thinks his Delver is going to flip first, or he thinks that he just wants to keep his Delver around to be able to flip and block those 1/1s, and he thinks Gary would take that opportunity to trade him off.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah. Izzet Blitz is flooding out a little bit here. 6 lands is not really what this deck wants.
And no Blitz creatures.
Yeah.
I mean, on the other hand, Sky Spawner is doing a lot better than I would have thought it would.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good on it. Yeah. So, yeah, we've just got back and forth 1/1 flyers.
Yeah, well...
Augur Bolas finds a Ponder, so that's really good. That'll let Gary flip his Delver almost assuredly.
Especially because that Ponder... or that Augur Bolas is now going to keep at bay that Scion and that Delver on the ground.
As long as it doesn't flip.
Yep.
Yeah. So who do you like here going forward? Who do you think's gonna, based on what we've got here?
I have to go with Gary at this point. He's an advantage in this game. He has a little bit of control of board. He has the ground locked up.
Just a little bit advantage, though, right?
Yeah. No, it's not too close. He has.
It's not too far.
A pair of unflipped Delvers. Delvers facing off each other. A 1/3 on the ground, which counteracts that 1/1, gives Gary a bit of an advantage. And 2 1/1 flyers in this spot are about as good as that 2/1.
Yeah. Just like a little bit better, probably.
Izzet Blitz is head on board, and actually, I think I saw a peek of in Ryan's hand a Nifix Cyclops that he'd been choosing not to deploy.
Interesting.
Perhaps because he wanted to play around a counterspell.
Yeah.
Which I would assume he's going to take this turn to deploy it if he gets the option.
That would make sense. It looks like Gary did shuffle off that ponder, which
that's never what you want.
Important. That shuffle is huge.
He still get to draw his card, but yeah, that probably means that he found either 2 cards he didn't really want in his sorcery or no instants in sorceries.
Yeah,
because he's really looking to flip that Delver in this position.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, and you can't really. Even if you go to flip the Delver here, and then your other 2 lands or cards are like lands, something else dead, you probably shuffle there. I would think because, yeah. What do you think? Do you, if you have the ponder there, do you see? I don't know. Like, what are the thing is, any instant or sorcery you see on top is probably going to be very, very powerful.
Yeah,
I can't think of a single one.
Vapor Snag is not really great in this spot. It does help him push through some damage, but he just gets to recast it the next turn. Not good against that spawner. I guess it would take care of the token for good.
Hey, if I'm playing against the deck that's trying to pump up one creature really big and hit you with it, I'm keeping that Vapor Snag.
That's fair. Yeah. It's just his opponent. As far as he knows, his opponent doesn't have any of those Blitz creatures.
Right. So believe Snap is probably worse than Vapor Snag there.
Yeah. I believe Ryan has missed another Delver trigger, which is why our friend Gary over here whacked his hand a little bit with his cards, one Delver player to another.
Yeah. I mean, hey, this is Ryan's first tournament playing his Delvers, so this is he's probably not used to playing with it as much.
Yeah, so he's going to play this Nifix Cyclops. This is the 1/4 defender, like we talked about before, that has the kill and feed ability, gets +3/+7 whenever you play an instance or sorcery, and it lets it attack as if it didn't have defender.
Yep. A little bit of trivia. That Nifix Cyclops art is featured on another piece of artwork from Return to Ravnica. Do you know what it is?
Abrupt Decay.
Yes, it is. Abrupt Decay is shown destroying the Nifix Cyclops there. The flavor text on Abrupt Decay is the Izzets quickly suspended their policy of lifetime warranties, which is great. Oh man, Anyway, Abrupt Decay is a sweet card, and honestly, if Abrupt Decay was legal in this format, it would be very, very powerful.
Very, very powerful. That is. Yeah. That is true. That card kills Nifix Cyclops quite well.
That card kills everything in this format quite well.
Except Spire Golem.
Except Spire Golem. Doesn't hit Crusher. Doesn't hit Crows and Tusker.
Yeah. If you're real slow looking old Monk's Crusher, then what are you really doing?
Yeah. So we're back to the man. This is a very interesting game.
Yeah, because neither deck is really doing what they want to do. That was doing all right, but you haven't seen them land an early powerful threat and then play a bunch of counter spells.
They just have a bunch of 1/1s.
Exactly. You haven't seen Izzet Blitz be able to
blitz.
Really, yep. In a word, neither having the creature nor the critical mass of instants and sorceries.
But even if no one's doing what they want to be doing, then the game's pretty even.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it looks like Vapor Snag put that back in its hand. So Ryan just revealed a ponder to flip that Delver as secret. So it kind of will halt his opponent's air assault, or will allow him to attack for 5 damage, put his opponent to 5. And then mean his opponent will have to leave out that blockers. Yeah. So now he's going to have to ponder, look at the top 3. He hasn't seen a lightning bolt this match, but that card would be very good here.
It would. And that's one thing that if mono blue Delver could play without, not being mono blue, they probably would. There are, blue red Delver decks in Pauper as well. But we've been talking about, mono blue's reactionary package of, they've got Snap, they have their Vapor Snag. Lightning Bolt is just better than all of those easily.
Yeah.
And so we could easily see, 1 or 2 lightning bolts on top of Ryan's deck, swing for 5, put Gary to 5, and then just 6
Yeah, exactly.
I
I don't think that's what he found. He does have
yeah, probably not, but
he does have the Nivik Cyclops in his hand that got bounced by Vapor Snag.
yes.
Might be worth replaying. You might have other stuff he wants to do with the mana. I think he's still deciding on
Yes.
Ponder, though.
Those are either 3 cards in his hand or the 3 cards in front of him. One of those is his
Looks
Ponder.
like...
The one he's now looking at is his
Okay.
choice.
Okay, it looks like he has Apostle's Blessing in his hand, too.
Okay, that is relevant. So, he's not dead on board, right?
Yeah.
So if he goes...
He's far from it.
Ooh, that is an Electrickery in hand. And the
Ooh.
Teamer Battle Rage.
Okay, this game's interesting.
Okay. Ryan has definitely some ways to win the game.
Yeah.
Maybe not in one turn, but he's definitely not out at all. Okay. Electrickery kills Fairy Miscreant, it kills
Spellsearch Sprite.
and that's it, right?
Yeah, but that's 2 flyers, that's 2 points off his opponent's clock,
Yeah.
and 2 potential blockers for these flyers when his opponent's at 10.
Yeah.
And what's very likely to happen is, since Delver the Secrets is the bigger one, it's not the one you usually want to block with. You want to keep using it to reduce your opponent's life total.
Mm-hmm.
So if he attacks for 5 here, puts his opponent to 5, passes the turn, maybe plays a Nivik Cyclops, maybe not. His opponent untap, attack him with probably the Delver and leave back the blockers.
Yeah.
And then he'll just get blown out as both his blockers die to 1 spell and he gets to attack with the Delver Secrets. But looks like he's just going to main phase it. Doesn't want to get too cute. Wants it to go while his opponent's low on mana and lower on cards. And just kind of be able to...
we got Electrickery, Response, Counterspell,
yeah.
and that'll just happen.
Yep.
So, if Ryan just plays Nivik Cyclops here,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's got Apostle's Blessing blue, and then, what's it called?
Tuner Battle Rage
for
just
lethal.
for lethal.
Right,
You gotta
1,
be
3,
careful
4,
with that
6.
Apostle's Blessing. If your opponent's on a
7,
red deck,
yeah.
you can't Apostle Blessing from red, then Tuner Battle Rage your creature. So you gotta
Yes.
be careful with that.
But it's looking like Ryan... If no one else plays, or, if Gary doesn't play anything interactive, that was huge.
What?
He just drew Spire Golem.
Ooh.
Spire Golem blocks an Apostle's Blessing on blue.
Yeah.
Nivik Cyclops.
Yeah, and it's a 2/4 that also interacts very favorably against the 3/2 and the...
Yes, it is also just a great card
I'm curious...
on the board.
Oh, Fairy Miscreant getting to draw a card because he controls another Fairy Miscreant.
Sweet.
Pretty powerful. When you're 1-drop 1/1 flyers, also draw you a card. They become a lot better.
Turns out. Yeah, 1/1 for blue flying draw card. I will play that all day.
Yes, indeed.
Alright, so Ryan's tapped out, so there's not all that much he can do. I mean, he's probably has gut shots in his deck, right? Out of the sideboard,
Yes,
I would imagine. So he might have some interaction, but it's probably quite limited. Gary's got 1, 2, 3. Yeah. This is a very, very close game. So he's got, looks like 5 power of attackers in the air. That puts Ryan to 4.
If he doesn't block.
If he doesn't block. Which he
has a flip Delver that can block. So this is an interesting
and,
attack.
and he just has the
Sky Spawner.
Sky Spawner blocks Delver, Flip Delver blocks Fairy Miscreant.
Yeah, this doesn't seem too good for him. You have to expect Gary having something here.
Yeah. So he's like, if Ryan makes the blocks that I just laid out, then he's taking 1 down to 8, killing 2 of Gary's creatures, and then Gary plays a Spire Golem, and doesn't really have great attacks the next turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he's doing...
I would only make this attack if allowing my opponent to eat one of my 1/1s. If I had something, and I don't actually know what he could have.
Interestingly enough, even if he just swings with the 1/1s, Delver still just eats one of those.
Maybe it'll be a gut shot. No, it's just 2 Spire Golems, so it looks like he wanted to get in for the damage.
Yes.
And be able to...
Yeah. 2 Spire Golems. 2 Spire Golems is huge.
Yeah. They stonewall, effectively, that Delver. They can attack
Right.
through it, and they make sure that it won't be attacked for the rest of the game.
Yeah. Gary...
Yeah,
Oh,
so Gary
interesting.
plays his island, goes to no cards in hand. and remarks that he definitely should have held it just to be able to bluff some kind of counterspell.
Because there are so many things that one card could represent in this format.
Oh, yeah. And it did make his in effect produce 2 mana because it made both of his golems cheaper, but he has an abundance of mana, so
yeah, he doesn't really need to care here. All right, so Ryan knows there's no cards in hand. Does he have a way to win the game on the spot? I think that one card in hand is a Teamer Battle. Does he just have one card in hand?
I was pretty sure he had a Battle Rage and an Apostle's Blessing at one point.
I didn't see the Apostle's Blessing.
Yeah, so he might have put it far enough down that he wouldn't have drawn it yet, but I don't think that's true.
Okay.
So it looks like we're back to Mono Blue Delver's turn.
Yeah.
What did he spend? Oh, he played another Sky Spawner.
Oh. Ooh. Both of the things.
So now I think he has the Team Battle Rage Apostle's Blessing.
Yeah. So
both the Spire Golem
both the Spire Golem attack, which means I don't think Gary's thinking about Apostle's Blessing.
Yeah. That'll allow Apostle's Blessing to get his Skyclops through a creature, and if he has any way to pump it again, it's gonna look like lethal.
Gary's at 10, right?
Yes.
So
he does have a Fairy Miscreant block.
1, 2, 3, 4,
black
6,
one of
7.
those flyers.
Interestingly,
That could block one of those flyers.
it needs to be pretty close to exactly Apostle's Blessing, Teamer Battle Rage. It has to be Apostle's Blessing, Teamer Battle Rage, or Apostle's Blessing, Lightning Bolt. For this to...
Yeah.
For him to get there.
Yeah.
Artful Dodge will do it as well, but you can't play around Artful Dodge.
Yeah.
You know, like, if he has Artful Dodge, he's just unblockable. You're not saving creatures to block with. You know, if he has it, he has it. But Apostle's Blessing can play around. Alright, so we've got a cast the Teamer Battle Rage on the... Interesting thing there. He casts Teamer Battle Rage. Target creature gets double strike until end of turn. Ferocious, that creature also gains trample until end of turn if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. He casts a Teamer Battle Rage, and in response, the trigger for Nivik Cyclops goes on the stack, thus giving him Ferocious for when Teamer Battle Rage resolves. Yeah. So that's a kind of neat sequencing thing that ends up going on. So
it looks like he actually let his opponent go to blocks here, which is very interesting.
If he has Apostle's Blessing in hand. I'm still not entirely... I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not entirely convinced that he has an Apostle's Blessing.
All right.
So right now, this Nivik Cyclops is a 4/4 double strike trample, right?
Yes.
Okay. And any instant or sorcery brings up to a 7/4 double strike trample. So that's 14, which means Gary needs to assemble... If he, is expecting another instant or sorcery in hand, then... Going to blockers isn't even that much of a problem for him. Yes. Because he just lets it happen, then plays the Apostle's Blessing if he really wants to go for lethal.
Exactly lethal, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Yeah, see, he didn't have an Apostle's Blessing. That was an island in hand. Yeah.
I swear it's not Apostle's Blessing that ponder. That's interesting.
Yeah, guess not. Either way, Izzet did not end up having the instants or sorceries to be able to actually pump it high enough, and it looks like Ryan just was not able to get there. Gary is our winner for round 2, putting Gary at 2-0 with his mono blue Delver list. So just a couple things to mention. That was the end of round 2 for our Pauper event here at Pairodice Games in Bellingham, Washington. We're going to be changing up the legality rules just a little bit. Currently, this tournament is on the MTGO ban list, but we're going to be changing it to the Card Kingdom Pauper rules.
Yeah, the big cards that cuts out. It's basically changing from what's legal on MTGO to what's legal on MTGO and legal in paper. How those overlap. Yeah, exactly. The big 4 that you lose there are Goblin Grenade, Hymn to Torark, Sinkhole, and High Tide. Some pretty powerful Magic cards.
Yeah, just a little.
So we'll be right back to you at the beginning of the next round in about 10 minutes. See you around. Please keep watching.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in to watch us. And while Ryan and Gary their sideboarding choices, we're gonna
Sweet.
See you soon.
All right, and we are back for round 3 of our Wednesday night. It's Wednesday, right? Yeah,
Yes, it is
Wednesday night Pauper. Excellent.
With our 2 casters, Noble Solana Walkinshaw, that's me, and Adam over here, who does not know what day it is.
Yeah, well, yeah,
That's what happens when you get out of college. Everything just starts to blend together.
Yeah, it's not great. Actually, it's pretty great, but either way.
Okay, looks like we have Cameron Welbeck back from round 1. He was on the blue-green Tron deck that narrowly lost to that mono blue deck, and it looks like I think he picked up another match win in round 2. I believe he's 1-1. I'm not actually sure.
I'm pretty sure this is the O2 bracket. So basically, what ended up happening was we could have Gary on stream one more time, which is, he's been on both times, so let's switch it up a little. So we went down to the Izzet Blitz, but it turned out to be Izzet Blitz versus Mono Blue Delver again, which we just saw. And so we're trying to switch up again. Now it looks like we're on Blue-Green Tron versus Blue-Green Black Tron. So this will be interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Tron mirrors are much more interesting in Pauper than they would be in something like Modern. Tron decks in Pauper are a lot more fair.
Yes.
Like, they're still producing lots of mana very quickly, but they're not turn 3 carning your opponent. They're turn 4 or 5 Olamog Crusher, which is a much more fair card.
So we're off to the races, playing pretty quickly. We have, both of them have a blue-green tap land. It's Thornwood Falls, right?
Yeah.
Thornwood. Thornwood? Okay. And both have a tower.
And then, Shimmering Grotto.
Shimmering Grotto. This is the mirroriest of mirror matches.
I like the style points.
Yeah.
See, our Steven noticed.
That's great. Wait, do they all have different... They're different
I
printings.
swear I've never seen that Shimmering Grotto before.
It's, I haven't either, for what it's worth. But, it's not the Innistrad one, which is the one
that is on all the M15s and all that. Okay, so it looks like a Forbidden Alchemy is trying to resolve for our blue-green Tron player, and then he's...
Steven also has a Forbidden
He's
Alchemy.
not playing it, he's just showing that they're basically, they're on the same deck.
So currently,
Very, very
Steven's
similar.
got a mine and a tower, so that's a little bit closer than Cameron's single tower.
So ditching Moment's Peace in the graveyard, which is a little bit of value. Condescend, which isn't great in this matchup when they both have a ton of mana. And a Prophetic Prism, which just kind of cycles and fixes.
That's not a mine, isn't it?
No, it's a...
Is that power play?
No, that's a mine.
Yeah.
It's a mine,
Okay.
so we're still
a parody.
in the mirror.
All right, and I'm guessing that Steven's going to end step play Forbidden Alchemy, and
Which is interesting because he didn't do it in the third turn, probably meaning he drew it for turn. We got a Seagate Oracle for blue-green Tron.
which is probably the smallest creature that'll actually matter. Yep, there's your Forbidden Alchemy.
in response.
Oh man, this is the mirroriest of mirror.
So they're
matches.
kind of shortcutting here. They shouldn't both be resolving these things at the same time, but neither of them are going to interact with one colorless mana.
Steven just put back a Moment's Peace binned a Moment's Peace and a Condescend, right?
Yeah. Yep. Looks like it.
This is great.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. All right. Yeah. So
Hearing a bit of our echo there outside.
currently,
Prohibit.
Ooh,
Interesting. Wait.
that's sweet. Is that what's in the yard?
Counter spell for rank is 2 or less.
Yep.
It's kick counter unless it's 4 or less instead.
One in blue counterspell. Yeah. Sweet thing to be able to
Pretty
play.
sure that card's not modern legal, or it's a
No, it's not modern
right?
legal. Yeah. It was printed in, I want to say, Invasion, or something like that. Yeah.
Alright, so we got an expedition map. That means this blue-green Tron player will be completing Tron next turn, which is definitely important.
Hey, it is Invasion.
Got
him.
Like,
yeah. So
so he has completed Tron, our Cameron Wallback, and Steve Boston will continue this little bit of parody and will be completing Tron next turn if he chooses to crack that expedition map for an Urza's power play.
yeah. Hang on just a sec. Sorry about that. We got
It looks like we have the
we have a list of their sideboards, so we'll be able to actually go through that between matches, and that should be great. But that's for later. Right now, we've got a game to watch. Yeah. So Muldrifter is that's a legitimate threat here, right?
Yes, definitely.
That's a 10 turn
that card-
clock.
Yeah, exactly. And in two decks that are pretty creature-light, that both have lots of spells, lots of card selections, they both have the Mystical Teaching package to kind of grind out advantage. A creature that sticks on the board, draws some cards, and then just starts beating your opponent to death. And now we have it back from Cameron Waldbeck's opponent. We've had like 1, 2.
That's good. That's exclude, right?
Yeah.
Counter target creature spell, draw a card, countering that Muldrifter. So this is the first like big break in parity that's mattered. We have Cameron's got his 2/2 flyer, and Steven does not have an answer for it, at least on board. So
and any answer at this point is already going to put him down cards because Muldrifter entered the battlefield and drew 2 cards.
Yep. So yeah, that's I feel like this type of mirror match is won by a lot of little tiny advantages, or I have a crusher and you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Or both.
Yeah. Little tiny advantages into I have a crusher and you don't does tend to do that.
What do we have there?
I think we're going to get that card up on the card viewer.
Yeah, it's got just enough glare. Wow.
Scrivener.
Awesome. 2/2 for 4 and a blue. When it comes into play, you can return target instant card from your yard to your hand.
Sure.
Grabbing back exclude.
Yep.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a 2-for-1 that gets back a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2/2 for 4 that basically gets a Muldrifter that's Muldrifter is exclude.
Yeah.
That was a little convoluted, but that's what it did.
Ooh. Bojuka Bog. Our main deck Bojuka Bog.
Main deck Bojuka Bog to get rid of his opponent's graveyard. That's findable off of Expedition map.
Yep. Okay, that's solid.
And it's a black source of mana. And we, through a little bit of research, know that Steve Boston plays Denova Horror in his deck.
Yep.
Which lets Bojuka Bog actually cast that card. It is black mana.
Denova Horror is a 4/4 for 4 blue-black. When it comes into play, bounce a permanent, and then they discard it. Bounce a permanent, and then that player discards a card.
Discards a card. One of the best common in Masters 2017?
Yep, Modern Masters 2017. Yeah. So that will be... we may or may not see that based on if he draws it, but that's a pretty sweet card to... I just want to see that. I love Denova Horror, so if we get to see it, then that's great. Until then, we've got our Pulsa Marasa
getting back to
Muldrifter. Yeah,
gaining some life.
Just a pile of value right there. Are we gonna have a? Looks like Cameron's thinking about whether or not that resolves. Probably trying to see how much mana he has, so that Condescend.
Main phase as well.
Yes, looks like.
So we got a Condescend
for one more mana than Steven has, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose you wouldn't cast it if it wasn't for 6 here.
Yeah. Condescend for 7.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, exactly. One more than Steven has. And still get the...
Actually, it looks like there was a Condescend back that he could have done there, but it wouldn't have been for... Actually, it would have been for enough to counter that Condescend. It just looks like he didn't think it was quite worth it.
Does Steven have a Condescend in hand?
Yes, Steven does have a Condescend in hand.
Ooh, yep. And then there's that exclude that was gotten back. So, yeah. It looks like Steven had a second Muldrifter in hand, right?
Yes.
And decided that...
He'd rather Condescend exclude than spend all the mana to Condescend to Condescend.
Yeah, and remember that he did have... Oh, it's a Prohibit, actually, not a Condescend.
I'm pretty sure he has a Condescend, too.
Okay.
Maybe I'm crazy.
Yeah. How could I have possibly predicted the exclude that I may or may not have seen happen earlier? Yeah.
So he's drawing his 2 cards off his Muldrifter, passing the turn.
So we've got 2/2 flyer, 2/2, and it's a 1/3, right? Seared Oracle. Yep. This Muldrifter trades nicely with the opponent's Muldrifter, which is fine.
But he does keep getting attacked.
Yes, he does keep getting attacked, and it's looking like what I was saying about the small advantages. It might not matter. Of course, Steven could just rip Crusher into Crusher into Crusher, and then nothing mattered, up until that point. But
it looks like slowly the 2-for-1s from the exclude from the Eternal Witness-esque creature from the, I forget what it's called.
Scrivener.
Yep. From the Scrivener, from the Muldrifter, from the exclude. Yeah. Potentially from the second exclude before it was countered.
It's letting Cameron get just enough of advantage to not fall, to not let Steven come back and actually establish a board presence, while also hitting him for 2 damage, for 4 damage, for 4 damage, again and again.
Dimmer Signet, powerful ramp card and color fixer, especially with Tron out.
Yep.
Lets you turn that colorless mana straight into blue and black.
Which is good for both Din Rover Horror and for flashing back, what's it called? Mystical Teachings. And Forbidden Alchemy. Yeah, there you go. So there's a bunch of ways that it's relevant. It's kind of interesting to me that both these players are on blue-green splashing black Tron. Because I know that a little while ago, the thing to do with Tron was Teamer.
Yeah.
You would play red instead of black.
Yeah, for some X spells like Rolling Thunder, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And some other powerful expensive red spells.
Yeah. So both of these players have chosen to be on a different version of the deck, which is I'm sure there's ups and downs. I'm not exactly a Pauper Tron connoisseur enough to know the exact differences, but
not a Tron connoisseur in any form. Let's be fair, because
we have another Condescend for X 7.
Okay, that's a blue mana and all of Tron being tapped right there. 4 whole lands to counter your spell and scry too.
I mean, he's got so much mana. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If you got 15 mana, it's kind of
hard cast an Emrakul that was printed in common.
Oh, that would be sweet. Yeah, how would Emrakul the Aeon's Torn affect this format? It's not a thing that we need to discuss right now.
Okay.
Either way.
I actually don't love these blocks.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if he's gonna flicker them, they're fine. But I was thinking that he could double block the Seagate Oracle, or the Seagate Oracle, take that off the board, and then he can do this next turn.
Okay.
It makes him take a little bit of damage, but then he actually deals with all the creatures. Where like this, he would have traded off, and then be dealt with 3 creatures against 1.
Sure. Yeah. But this way he gets to stop 4 damage. He just takes the 1, draw 2 cards, do the
Seagate Oracle
thing, and
kind of pull him significantly ahead. 3 mana, draw 2 cards, Fog is a pretty good card.
It is. On the other
draw
hand,
3 cards, yeah.
The other side just played a Crusher, so
yeah,
that's
far from ideal in this position.
Yeah, so it's looking like Steven's going to have to answer the Olamox Crusher. And how is he...
The Nova Horror does indeed do that.
That's awesome.
That card to his hand.
There's our
and makes him discard a card. Solid 2-for-1, got a 4/4 body, which very well holds down the ground against that Scrivener and that Seagate Oracle.
Yeah.
And now he's playing his own Prophetic Prism.
Yep.
Draws a card. Continue filtering mana for him.
Not that it's really needed at this point.
Yes, but
2 mana draw a card? Yeah, it's fine.
Also, the Nova Horror does make his opponent discard a card and take care of that for a turn. It does not stop that Olamox Crusher forever.
No.
So he needs some way to be able to interact with it on the way back down, and even a Condescend for all of his mana right now is not enough to get through his 15 mana of Cameron Wallback.
Well, 1, 2, 3, 4...
No, he goes 3, 4, 5,
you're right.
6.
You're very much right.
Yeah.
That's not great.
Yeah, and the Tron Mirror, when one player draws more towers, they're just edging out those advantages. Those counteract spells are not doing too great. Okay, we're coming in with a 2/2.
2/2 flyer.
I think I like trading Multipliers here.
Oh yeah, me too.
You can't keep shaking those 2 in the air.
No.
You gotta do that at some point, especially if you have a Pulsimer also.
What else is it doing?
Yeah,
it's not trading for the Muldrifter.
Exactly.
Cameron's at 21. You're not racing that. All right. I am almost positive we're just going to see another, play the Crusher again.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8.
Looks
Play
like
Crusher.
2 towers in him.
Yeah.
Power plant and an exclude on the back end counters that, takes care of that solidly, and is a
That's
2-for-1,
great.
draws a card.
Look at
that.
that.
That is exactly what he was looking for to answer that Crusher.
Yeah, it was. So it's looking like Cameron doesn't have an exclude or a Condescend, a third Condescend, or Prohibit of his own to deal with that exclude. And it's so instead of having a Crusher in play, he's got a Seagate Oracle in play now, which is
worse. Actually,
yeah,
might have been right to play that Seagate Oracle first. Look for that counter magic. That might just be an oversight. There might be some other things going on in his hand we don't know about.
Maybe, yeah.
But
draws a mine, plays a mine. Okay. Or
yeah,
takes
exactly.
the mine off the Seagate Oracle.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, probably.
Because if you find that counter magic, so looks like Steven Boston's gonna
End step.
Mystical Teachings to start to get ahead. I would guess he's finding something like Exclude or
Pulse.
Yep. Condescend, actually.
So that probably means he has some gas in hand that he'll be able to use and then hold up.
Yeah.
The Condescend.
And finding that means that very much that he wants to cast it on this next turn, because passing to your opponent with that Condescend up doesn't really let, because of that mana disparity. And we see Cameron Wallbeck fire off that Pulse of Marassa on while his opponent Steve Boston is tapped out to get back that Crusher, gain 6 life, be even further ahead.
Seems like the thing to do, knowing that he has a Condescend in hand.
Especially, definitely. And now Cameron knows that he has the Condescend and will be much more careful about running that Crusher out in the Condescend mana.
Pretty sure he'll be able to find a time to have more.
Ooh, I believe this is Mnemonic Wall, but
it looks like
be crazy.
That's what I was thinking as well. Mnemonic Wall, 0/4. Well, it's a different printing of it, but yeah. 0/4 for 5 Defender. When it comes into play, there you go. Return target instant or sorcery card from your yard to your
Just
hand.
like that Scrivener.
Yep.
It's basically Scrivener, but a 2/2.
So I'm guessing he's
0/4.
going to grab a Ghostly Flicker with that.
Yeah.
Didn't we see
so
that?
The combo here is Ghostly Flicker plus any card that draws cards, and this Mnemonic Wall is effectively infinite if you have enough mana, because the Mnemonic Wall gets back the Ghostly Flicker, and the Ghostly Flicker continues to draw cards, and you can basically draw your entire deck.
Also, Dinrova Horror. That's the real thing.
Ooh.
So what he's going to do is he's going to pay 3 mana to blink his Dinrova Horror and the Mnemonic Wall. That gets both ETBs. The Mnemonic Wall is going to bring back the Ghostly Flicker. The Dinrova Horror is going to bounce a thing. And he can do that as, for 3 mana.
This is brutal. He's going after his lands. Not his board state. And he's going to keep bouncing those towers and mines.
Yeah.
Keeping him to making it so that he's going lower on cards each time. So he's eventually going to strip Tron from his opponent.
Well, he's not going lower on cards each turn.
No, his opponent is.
Cameron? Kind of.
A card. Oh, yeah. A card is going from his. Yeah.
He's going to.
Yes.
Yeah. Grand total, yes. Either way, Cameron was able to discard a
Moment's Peace.
Yes.
Which is,
kind of
that's
fine.
Effect, but yeah, Steven's, hit. What does he have? He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana, so he'll be able to do this Ghostly Flicker thing twice more. It might be that he doesn't do it because he doesn't want to get it condescended, because this is how he wins the game,
yes.
Right?
Oh yeah.
You keep flickering the Dinrova Horror, even though Steven's at 6. It doesn't matter if whenever think about this.
Yes.
Cameron has 2 Crushers or whatever, 8 Crushers. Doesn't as long as he's got the mana, Steven can always blink his thing, bounce a Crusher,
Exclude
his
for
thing,
the Crusher again is big.
That's brutal.
Yeah, keeps him ahead on board and allows this Ghostly Flicker engine to really take over. No matter what, I was pretty certain that this Ghostly Flicker engine was gonna lock the game out.
Yeah, it's
but
like
when you have the Exclude for the Crusher as well, brutal. So once again, it looks like he's going to play the Crusher, get it excluded, and play the Seagate Oracle afterwards. The exact same sequence kind of happened again there.
Yeah.
Which, once again, I think it might have been right to play that Seagate Oracle out first. There might be something I'm missing here.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. So, the it's a Seagate Oracle that he was able to play and trigger. It's kind of interesting that these decks play both a Scry 2 effect and Seagate Oracle, which does that but gets one of the cards.
Yeah, so it caused a little bit of confusion for our players there, but they worked it out.
Yep. So yeah, no, this Infinite Dinrova Horror thing is pretty sweet. I really like it.
I know it won't go this long, but I kind of hope our friend Steven over here drags it out long enough to get the full no permanents, no cards, just brutal, rip him apart.
That would be very brutal. But it's
okay. I mean, on the wall of his own.
We've got our.
I don't think we've seen. Have we seen Ghostly Flickers with Karen Wall?
I don't believe
we have. No, I think we did.
Did we?
Against the mono blue deck, he blocked, and flickered both of his creatures.
Oh, but I mean, it's not in his yard. Right?
Yes. No, not in his yard. But yes, he does play a similar combo. I don't know if he has the Dinrova Horror.
I don't think he does.
Yes.
All right. So Steven sees this and
response to Condescend. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you put on top?
I did not see, but Cameron may or may not have a Dinrova Horror also in his deck so that he can do this whole loop.
Yeah,
He
does definitely have Ghostly Flicker.
Yeah, this mirror is pretty sweet. There's a lot of interaction going on, a lot of...
Yeah, and you see last turn he just decided to go sideways with all of his creatures.
Yeah.
Attacked with some Seagate Oracles. Interesting to see no blocks.
You were right, by the way. It's very interesting that this Dinrova Horror thing, this Dinrova Horror loop, can go after Tron. And just take, maybe you have 3 towers, 3 mines, and 1 power plant, hit the power plant, and suddenly you don't have Tron anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because if they are low on hard hand, you bounce the Tron piece, they discard something else, and then you're bouncing their creatures, and they have to either choose to get rid of Tron or their creatures.
Yes. Yeah, it turns out Dinrova Horror's trigger happening 8 times in the turn is very good no matter what else is going on.
That's very true. Interestingly, it's very good this matchup, without a doubt, but it's not quite as good as it would be against other decks, because so many of the blue-green Tron decks, they're like Seagate Oracles and Mold Drifters that draw cards, so the discard isn't quite as punishing, but...
Yeah, so it looks like he shortcut a little bit and just did his Ghostly Flicker thing 3 times.
Yeah. And bounced that, discard 3.
Steven saying, make a bunch of mana, do this 3 times, this one, yeah.
And that'll be the game.
Yeah.
This Ghostly Flicker plus Dinrova Horror was absolutely brutal.
That'll rip apart. So, yeah, it's interesting, because I was, talking about this whole way through how, small advantages are going to win unless there's one crazy thing that happens. And that's exactly what happened,
Yeah.
It was very close to Cameron winning. Steven got down to 6.
Yeah, exactly. He had to play those small door creatures, those small drifters, those Seagate Oracles, and started beating down.
Yeah.
But the Dinrova Horror just in the end
does not care. Alright, so 4 sideboards. Let's start with Steven. Right there you can see on your screen. His sideboard has copies of Curse of the Bloody Tome, Cop Red, Circle of Protection Red, Relic of Pairodice, Ancient Grudge, Moment's Peace, Cop Green, Pyroblast, Dispel, and 1 Rolling Thunder.
I believe that's the double red X card, right?
Yeah, red X, deal X damage.
Divided as you choose among any number of creatures or players.
I think it's just creatures.
Right? No, it is.
Is creature players? Okay, sure. Either way, probably not playing Rolling Thunder.
Yes. Very likely that I'm boarding these Dispels. They're very good at fighting these counter wars. They're very good at being able to interact with his opponent's excludes, mystical teachings.
Same with Pyroblast.
Yeah, definitely probably boarding that Pyroblast.
No, you're right. It's creatures or players. He got me. Yeah. So 2 Pyroblast, 2 Dispel.
Ancient Grudge is interesting. There are a lot of artifacts in this deck, but none of them are really something you want to hit. So
it's true.
I would guess you're probably not going to board that one in.
I mean, I could definitely see the board state where Steven's getting all of his mana, like his colored mana, off of 2 Prophetic Prisms and a Dimir Signet.
Yes.
You destroy those and suddenly he can't make the right colored mana. But I don't think that's a good enough reason to bring in the thing, yeah. Either way, on Cameron's side, we've got an Ulamog's Crusher, 4 Serrated Arrows?
Yes.
Serrated Arrowhead? No, it's Serrated Arrows. Yep. A Negate, 3 Dispel, 2 Muldrifter, and 1 each of Terrifying Presence, Read the Bones, and Scrivener.
So it looks to me like your grindier mid-range cards are going to come in here. Scrivener, as we saw, very good with Ghostly Flicker, does the same thing as Benomic Wall, and will bring back other counter spells, draw spells, stuff like that.
Exclude, Condescend, that kind of thing. So there's that Scrivener. If we could also pull up the other Scrivener art is the one that he's got. That one right there. That's it. I like that art actually.
Yeah,
that's
pretty cool.
That's pretty sweet. So do you think he brings in another Crusher?
I'd say so. That seems pretty key in this matchup.
I would imagine.
If you can sneak it through a counter spell, your opponent doesn't have great ways to interact with it.
Yeah.
And that card is just impossible to stop on the ground.
Other Crushers.
Except for other Crushers. In which case, you definitely want more Crushers in your deck, because the way to win the Crusher battles is the player who draws more Crushers plays their Crusher first and attacks with their Crusher, does in fact start to win the Crusher war. A lot of crushing that goes on.
Turns out.
But those Negates and Dispels will be key for protecting said Crusher and other threats. And I think you probably want the Muldrifters just to kind of stay ahead.
I don't think. Unfortunately, Crush does not win the Crusher War. It tries,
yeah.
but yeah. So 3 Dispel and a Gate and a Crusher. I'm not sure you bring in the Mulldrifters because it's probably fine. It's probably good, you know. But I don't see that being the way that you win.
Cameron definitely has dead cards in his deck, like Moment's Peace is not going to be great in this matchup.
Yeah,
but I see what you mean.
I mean, honestly, it could be that Moment's Peace is amazing. I don't think it is, but it could be very well. You know, again, there's board states where Moment's Peace is amazing. There's board states where Moment's Peace is just
but
awesome.
that's not really what in a deck where everyone's drawing so many cards. That's really not what I want to be doing. I don't think in this matchup.
That's fair.
At the point where your opponent's attacking with a Crusher, it doesn't matter how many times you cast Moment's Peace. It really doesn't. You're going to lose that game. You're still sacking permanents.
It also doesn't save you from any Denrova horror blinking shenanigans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting thing in Steve's sideboard if you want to go back there. Yeah. Relic of Pairodice does stop that Ghostly Flicker, Mnemonic Wall, Scrivener, loop.
For what it's worth, it also hits your own, though.
Yes. Potentially. Because the games go long enough that if you just activate its ability targeting them to make them exile cards
every turn,
you don't put that many cards in their graveyard, barring something like, of course, Forbidden Alchemy.
Right.
That I feel like you could get ahead in that little game, and if they ever set up the combo, pop it,
right,
take a loss in your own graveyard, but now you're not getting beaten by this Denova horror.
Yeah, and you don't end up with your after you've got the Mnemonic Wall in play, getting back your Ghostly Flicker, it's all in your hand. There's nothing in the yard to exile. It's only mid, cast a Ghostly Flicker, blink the Mnemonic Wall, Ghostly Flicker goes to the yard, trigger on the stack, then you can crack it. Which means my point is, he's got his own relic, which means he can just choose to do it then and have the Ghostly Flicker in hand and still be fine.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, you're right. I'm in on the Relic of Pairodice here.
Okay, so looks like we're settling in for another game. That first game was pretty lengthy.
It was. We've got 22 minutes left on the clock. Or 23 minutes. For those of you just joining us, I'm not sure how many are just joining us here for midway through round 3, but my name's Adam.
I'm Noble.
And this is the Pairodice Games Wednesday night Pauper tournament. In round 3, game 2, Steven's up a game, and here we go. It looks like Steven's got 2 different pieces of Tron and an expedition map in play, so that's pretty great. Meanwhile, Cameron has not 2 pieces of Tron.
Yeah, Adam, how important do you think assembling Tron is in this matchup?
Like, turn 3 Tron 7 mana you're not playing Karn like you would in Modern.
Exactly.
You're not playing Crusher because it's 8.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't think you're right. I don't think it's as
important. But being up 4 mana on your opponent effectively.
Oh yeah, you do it. You're not doing Tron.
But the thing is, all of your best cards are colored. Well, you're not.
Yes.
You're besides Crusher, of course. But you're wanting to cast things like Denova Horror, you cast your Mulldrifters to start getting ahead.
For what it's worth, having 8 mana versus your opponent's 3 means your Condescends are always going to get them every time, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
See, now this Dimmer Signet here, it starts to turn that mana into whatever color you want. You could actually play Denova Horror here if he has it, but I don't think he does. Which
he can,
pretty awesome. Turn 3, spell, then Denova Horror is pretty impressive.
And it's not like you're opening it up to removal. The blue-green Tron deck isn't gonna. I mean, you gotta exclude, so you kind of have to be careful about that. But
yes,
is Denrova Horror that whole Ghostly Flicker Denrova Horror loop, is that important enough to play around and exclude that might be in your opponent's hand? It is, right?
I think so, especially because you are up so much on mana, and like we talked about, you're winning these Condescend races. It seems very important to not let yourself get blown up by the exclude there.
Yeah, he's got 10 mana.
Exactly.
And, on the other hand, they do play Pulse of Marasa. Yeah. Forbidden Alchemy here by Cameron is going to be able to find him some things that he might need.
Like we were talking about, Steven Boston assembled Tron very early, but he's not really doing anything with it.
Yeah, he just played a tower and passed it.
Yeah, exactly. He might have an alchemy, flashback alchemy, which is something he can do with this amount of mana.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That's a good turn 3.
Turn 4, because he needs the second tower to do it.
Okay. On the other side, though, it's looking like Cameron might have a Mole Drifter, a Dispel, and a Condescend in hand. So he's got
he's pretty well set up to start actually doing things.
This is basically, I think this is absolutely fine for him.
That looked like delving away his graveyard. Oh, it was a Bajuka Bog.
Yeah,
from his opponent.
That's pretty good.
Pretty key there. I believe.
And cycled the.
He cycled the Bajuka Bog, especially clever, because not only did it exile graveyard prevent future Scrivener shenanigans, but it also got rid of that Forbidden Alchemy. Took away some of his potency as a late game card.
Yeah, it's true. So we've got a Seagate Oracle, and again, I agree with you. The fast Tron didn't really end up doing much, but this whole just play Seagate Oracle, play Prophetic Prisms.
If you're not doing things with Tron every turn, it doesn't really matter what turn you get it.
Yeah.
Especially because he doesn't have any green mana, and he only has one source of blue, so he's pretty constrained on what he can do.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. In Modern, all 3 Tron pieces and any other cards, you keep that every time. But here, if this is his starting hand, 4 pieces of Tron and Dimir Signet, that's not even that great.
Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting.
You can very easily have hands that are like pieces of Tron and like Mole Drifters, but this Forbidden Alchemy is very, very good here.
This lets him play he's got the mana to play 2 Forbidden Alchemies here.
Yeah.
So I believe that was End Step, Forbidden Alchemy, Forbidden Alchemy.
Forbidden Alchemy, floating a black off that Dimir Signet with the
with
the tower, and then just do it again.
Yeah. So that now, okay, he'll have stuff to do. Almost definitely, almost 100% of the time.
He put a Mnemonic Wall in his graveyard. If he doesn't have stuff to do, then he made a mistake.
Or he's got to pull some.
I'm not going to give him that little credit.
Yeah.
The thing is, it doesn't matter if Mnemonic Wall is in the yard or not. You're not really blocking with it, not really.
Sure.
So if you're going to pulse it back on end step at some point, holding up 2 Condescends or something like that,
that's
then,
very true.
Then you'll be able to do that.
Yeah, this deck is just so powerful, grounding up that card advantage. It has card advantage creatures in the form of Mole Drifter. Oh, looks like that Ancient Judge did actually get boarded in.
Nice. Okay.
But
on the other side, that's no, never mind. That's the one I'm thinking. Never mind. Don't mind me.
But it's so good at grinding out card advantages. All of its creatures cantrip. Mole Drifter gets you ahead. Exclude gets you ahead.
Yep.
Ulamog's Crusher is card advantage almost because of how big it is, and as soon as it attacks, it's starting to take permanence.
Forbidden Alchemy, get rid of the Ancient Grudge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Stuff like that.
It's just 2 for 1, 2 for 1, 2 for 1, 2 for 1 until you're Crusher or Dinrova Horror thing or any of that.
Yeah.
You'll eventually find a win con, hopefully. Cool. So we've got some Mole Drifter trades. Very common in Pauper.
Ghost Flicker. Ghost Flicker my thing. Draw 2 cards. Look at the top 2. Put 1 in my hand.
That's a good Magic card. I would play that.
Yep. 3 mana. Draw 3.
Yeah.
After scrying 2. Yeah.
Sweet. And we've got a response to the Ghostly Flicker, Dispel. And in response to that, a Dispel.
Yeah.
So
some of the sideboard cards we were talking about.
Yep.
Okay. Essential on both sides.
Yeah.
Favoring one side or the other, but
it's just the Ghostly Flicker is allowed to happen, so the whole value engine is online doing its thing. Great. So interesting. What does Steven's got in his hand? We can almost see. It looks like I can see a power plant. I can see a Mnemonic Wall. I can see a Pyroblast. Pyroblast, yep.
Condescend.
Okay, so he's got interaction. He's got mana, which is kind of all you need.
He's looking for.
Yeah.
So then he's drawing 2 more off playing another Mole Drifter. The amount of Mole Drifter triggers this man has put on the stack this game is pretty impressive. I think it's 3, and it's only turn 6.
Mole Drifter is a powerful Magic card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so the value train chugs on ahead.
Looks like he discarded a Scrivener to hand size?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. When you're discarding your 2-for-1, oh my god, here's another. Yep, there's another Mold Drifter.
So 5 Mold Drifter triggers so far this game.
Yep, everyone's drawing cards, everyone's blocking the other person's Mold Drifters.
Yep. And the Mold Drifter met with an Exclude would probably be met by a Condescend coming back, I'd imagine. Ooh, a Pyroblast. Oh, he had a Mana Floating. Yes, he had Mana Floating. Yep, he had the black Mana Floating from the Dimir Signet, and turned it into a red Pyroblast. Now he's playing his Prophetic Prism.
Great.
Drawing a total of 4 cards total this turn. And he has some mana left available. And there's that Relic that
He did bring in the Relic, yep.
Especially good against here, because it has time to whittle away those cards that matter and can always be popped in a pinch.
Yeah, so while these two just kind of play a bunch of cards that draw cards and increase value, let's talk a little bit about how the Relic of Progenitus interact, like where you play the Relic, where you do the Relic thing.
Yeah, definitely. So
Relic
what Stevens wanted to do is he'd probably want to leave a mana up at all times to be able to interrupt the Ghostly Flicker interaction. So how that would work is you would Ghostly Flicker, target your Mnemonic Wall in your card. That would get to resolve. Your cards would blink. Either your Genova Horror or your Mold Drifter would trigger, as would your Mnemonic Wall. The Mnemonic Wall will usually return that Ghostly Flicker. So you let your opponent put that trigger on the stack, target that Ghostly Flicker, and then exile both graveyards with Relic of Progenitus. But given long enough, the Relic of Progenitus will just use its tap ability to get one card after another out of Cameron Wallback's hand,
and then Steven doesn't even have to crack it to be able to interrupt that Ghostly Flicker chain, which lets him.
Cameron does have Dinrova Horrors. All right, so we're okay. So yeah, this is great. The other thing about that Relic thing is cracking the Relic and exiling both graveyards never gets rid of your own Ghostly Flicker, Mnemonic Wall, Dinrova Horror loop, because it at every point when you're not currently comboing off is in your hand or in play.
Yeah, because the Ghostly Flicker's in your hand and 2 creatures are in play, and then you cast it again. It goes to the grave, then it immediately gets returned.
But right now, we've got a Mnemonic Wall in the yard. So the whole idea would be at some point, Pulse of Marasa, get back the Mnemonic Wall, play the Mnemonic Wall, get back the Pulse of Marasa, then start playing Ghostly Flicker and doing it. So if he wants to crack his Relic of Progenitus now, then he's going to have to get rid of his own Mnemonic Wall, which is
depending on how much he plays.
Yeah. So this, I think that the Relic of Progenitus is actually the most important card in play right now.
Yes, definitely. So we have an Ancient Grudge on this Prophetic Prism to try to shut his opponent off of colored mana. Or at least make it harder. Because Prophetic Prism is effectively free, it's mana neutral to activate, it gives you 1 back for a colorless, whereas Shimmering Grotto takes a mana. You no longer get to tap that Shimmering Grotto for mana.
Yeah. Huh. Alright, so that Prophetic Prism is now gone, yeah. And the Ancient Grudge exiled. Cool. Yeah. Alright, and Steven does still have his mana up to activate
the Genova Horror resolved and bounced a Urza's Mine.
That's Power Plant, isn't it?
That's what he discarded to the trigger.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. And, yeah. Okay. Yeah, the third Power Plant there.
Third Tron piece is not...
Yeah, it's generally not necessary.
Of the same type. Yeah.
As much so. So yeah, end step, whittle away at your yard. This Relic of Progenitus about these games are going to go long. We're going to have another 20 turns here. Yeah. And Relic of Progenitus will eventually eat away the entire yard, which means your Pulse of Marasas, your Forbidden Alchemies of the world.
20 turns might be a bit optimistic.
Okay, not 20 turns.
Yes,
a lot of enough turns.
That he will be able to get all 6 of those cards out of the graveyard.
Probably. Yeah. On the other hand, we do have 10 minutes left in the round. So if this does go that many turns, we might be getting pretty close, and then if Cameron's able to tie it up, then we're looking at turns, and I don't think either of these decks win fast enough to really win in 4 minutes or what have you. All right, so we've got a Mnemonic Wall. Right? Yeah, Mnemonic Wall in the stack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got black mana floating, cast Mnemonic Wall.
Yep. There is blue mana available from both that Shimmering Grotto and that Prophetic Prism.
It looks like the Mnemonic Wall resolves. Cameron kind of gestured at it and pulls back a Pyroblast. Okay, so Pyroblast is going to be able to counter the Ghostly Flicker or destroy the Generovahor.
Yeah, destroy one of the cards.
Yeah, play
One of the cards that the Ghostly Flicker targets.
Yeah. It's interesting how important the prismatic, or the prisms are, prophetic prisms are in this deck.
Because they have there's so many different, they're playing the red, blue, black, and green cards. And a deck that also wants to play 12 colorless lands.
Yeah, it's a tall order, but being able to draw cards for very close to free when you just have 12 colorless mana is really good. Yeah, Ghostly Flicker can bounce it too, or can flicker it, which is sweet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, comes up, draws cards.
Permanent.
Yeah.
Or non-land permanent.
If that's your thing, if you don't have a Mold Drifter and you have a Mnemonic Wall, yeah, it's value. Yeah, get value wherever you can. I was actually kind of thinking about building a new Pauper deck. This one seems sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's.
There's a lot of really cool things going on.
I don't know when I build my first Pauper deck, I will definitely be playing the card Sprout Storm. That card is excellent. I fell in love with it when I tabled a bunch of people with it in that flashback MTGO online format, and boy, I not wait to make hundreds of saplings.
For the first time in the game, someone has taken damage. So
Less than 20 life.
They're at less than 20 life.
That's that Generovahor Horror, Mold Drifter, and Seagate Oracle getting in there.
Let the aggro game begin.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent.
The aggro game is he plays a 5-mana 2/2.
Hey, 5-mana 2/2s will get there.
Yeah, they will.
It's basically goblins in terms of speed.
Yeah, Siege Game Commanders is a 5-mana 2/2.
There you go. Yeah, pretty much the exact same thing. And it's a card advantage, kind of.
Huh?
Yeah, just like Mold Drifter. In fact, Siege Game Commander doesn't even fly.
Yeah.
So it's just a bad Mold Drifter,
And
right?
especially because it's not legal in Pauper.
Yeah, so so there, you get a DQ.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. Man, Mold Drifter is a very, very powerful card.
Oh, yes.
It's pretty instrumental in a lot of these decks.
I cannot believe Wizards printed that card at Comet for its first printing.
Yeah.
They did not understand the power of the Drifter. Okay.
It was a different time.
Now the aggro plan, I would say, is fully in action. Finally, a card that has as much power as its mana cost. Hold on, pressure going on the stack.
Does Cameron not have Tron assembled?
No, he does.
He tapped 8 lands for that. Drifter and Crusher at the same time. Yeah, no, never mind.
Which,
Yeah.
I guess he must have drawn the Crusher off the Drifter, otherwise you definitely want to play in the other direction.
Yeah.
Like we said, here's this Pulse of Marassa that might be getting back that Mnemonic Wall that might start off of this chain.
Well, he's got a Mnemonic Wall.
Oh, okay. So just needs to get
What
back to 20. We are back to starting life totals.
Oh man, Pulse of Marassa is a strong magic card.
Indeed it is.
Alright.
It was also honestly pretty good in standard with Gull and Dark Dwellers, flashing back Pulse of Marassa. That was an engine.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I didn't actually see that. That's good. Alright, so we've got another Mold Drifter. Draw 2 cards, play some Tron lands.
Yep.
Good stuff. And eventually
Another Mold Drifter trigger number. Oh, it has to be
Like
7.
6 or 7, yeah.
It's 7.
That's great.
Yeah. That's a lot of flying fish.
Yeah. I wonder how close these guys are to milling out.
Yeah. With all these Mold Drifters cast, there has to be a point where you don't cast them. Too bad you can't target your opponent with your Mold Drifter trigger. Get them there.
9, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So it looks like Cameron's about 30 cards in. I think Steven's deeper than that.
Can he cast those for Alchemy?
Yeah.
Reminds me,
It's a little harder to count because he has that exile pile, which is harder to see.
Oh, it's true. So it's probably a little bit more than I forgot to do the exile pile. So yeah, it's probably about 35, 40 cards deep, something like that.
Yeah, which is pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, they're both probably around 20, 25 cards in library.
Yeah, They're not playing the mill plan yet, but...
Alright, so we've got 2 blockers on a Genrova Horror.
He's trading away a bunch of Mole Drifters. 2 Mole Drifters for a Horror, Mole Drifter for a Mole Drifter, and finally going to lose a little bit of life back below 20. One of our players officially below 20. Maybe he'll stay that way. Probably not.
Yeah. Okay, so the Genrova Horror is now dead, which means you don't get to do the Ghostly Flicker thing unless you pull somewhere else, sit back, play it again, and then start doing the Ghostly Flicker thing. But does Cameron have a mnemonic wall? I don't think he does, right?
Not in play.
Yeah, but does he? Probably has one in hand, but I don't.
I mean, if he has one in hand, that's what he should play here.
Probably
back that Ghostly Flicker and start going off.
Scrivener.
He does.
That'll do it. That's
Especially
just another mnemonic wall.
Yep.
Yeah. So the whole point of Scrivener here is it gets back.
And he will be drawing. Okay, so Scrivener's met with an exclude. Classic bit of control here.
Probably good.
So
Steven.
Could be met potentially with on the way back a Condescend for 4.
Yep.
Which could get Condescended, but there's a lot of mana on his side of the battlefield, so it looks like he'll be getting back that Ghostly Flicker.
What's he scry 2 off the Condescend. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Top. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. Scrivener targets the Ghostly Flicker. And in response crack the Relic. Yep, so that's...
Rob him of his 2-for-1. Make it to that isn't going to get online anytime soon.
So, now I'm thinking if Steven has... But Steven doesn't have anything other than Mnemonic Wall. He's got to play a value creature and then start Mnemonic Wall. Ghostly Flickering.
Well, he doesn't even have the... Steven does, yeah.
Yeah, Steven. Steven starts with a Prophetic Prism and then plays a Seagate Oracle.
Yeah.
1 in hand, 1 in the yard, or 1 on the bottom.
He does have like about 7 cards in hand, so...
Just keeps playing some value creatures.
And it turns out when all your cards draw cards or are lands,
yeah, you just
end up
keep
with
going.
a lot in hand, yeah.
Funny how that goes.
Swiftwater
Cliffs. Nice.
The red, because he has that those cards in the sideboard, Ancient Grudge, Pyroblast, and that Rolling Thunder. Wow, boy would I love to see this game end by a Rolling Thunder.
Did he board it in?
I'm not actually sure.
I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, all of these games, they're getting 15, 16 mana.
Yeah.
They're getting to a lot of mana. And
it also does kill Olmos Crusher.
Yeah. It kills Olmos Crusher, and you just pay 22 into it and kill them.
Yeah, Condescend also doesn't... Or Condescend is the only counter magic that gets it, because Exclude is creature spell. And Condescend hopefully will be exhausted by this point in the game.
Yeah. Maybe if you know this matchup well enough and know that...
What happened? Okay.
17, yeah, not 1. If you know the matchup is going this late every single time, it might be worth it to board in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I might be interested in taking out some of these Seagate Oracles, to be honest.
Yeah.
The card does not seem like it does that much in this matchup.
Box Crusher. But that's not ideal.
Once they've resolved Fluxure, you've already lost. It does filter a little bit. Better minds than me are probably on the matchup tech for this mirror.
We've got time in the round, it looks like. Ding, 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 turn 0. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Steven's going for the 0, or the 101 dream.
Yeah. Mystical Teachings.
Cameron with the Mystical Teachings, yep. Looking through his 12 cards left, or whatever it happens to be.
20-ish, probably. Finds the Ghostly Flicker. And I'm glad we got these on camera again, because this Ghostly Flicker, Mnemonic Wall, De Novo Horror, or Molder interaction is a pretty staple one in Pauper. Really, and something that we didn't get to see the Blue-Green Tron do against Delver.
Yeah. It's true. This is it's pretty similar to back when Peregrine Drake was legal in Modern. Peregrine Drake was printed as a common a couple years ago in, what was it? Eternal Masters?
No, I think it was.
I'm pretty sure it was Eternal Masters. And that just completely changed everything in Pauper.
Yeah, because Ghostly Flicker plus Monolith Wall decided infinite mana.
Yeah, and so there were a bunch of different decks that did that, made a bunch of mana.
Well, and then if you have a multiple, you draw your deck, and then you just win.
So, it's kind of similar to that. The Tron deck playing Pulse of Marasa and Mnemonic Wall Ghostly Flicker was brought about then, and it looks like after Peregrine Drake was banned, it stuck around and stayed in this cool, like, Teamer...
Oh boy, does Peregrine Drake ramp a Tron player.
Oh, yeah, Peregrine Drake is...
Excellent.
Peregrine Drake was not an okay card in Pauper. Oh my gosh. I mean, I played it. It was awesome, but...
That's
yeah.
So this Mnemonic Wall is resolving, probably getting back this Pyroblast, and we continue the
Value town. Yeah, there's a lot of boy, is there a lot of value going on in this matchup.
So,
Yeah.
at this point, the only real thing that'll win the game in this amount of turns is Rolling Thunder. And we don't actually know if Cameron boarded it in. But that's really the question. He's either digging into Rolling Thunder, or he basically didn't. He did have one in his sideboard. We're not sure if he brought it in. It does kill Olmouth Crusher, so I definitely could see him. Oh, my bad. Steven actually is the one who had the Rolling Thunder in the sideboard. Cameron did not.
And Steven's up a game.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. It might be possible that Cameron just needs, like, his out might be crusher, swing,
Swing.
But even then,
He has the chump blockers. He has the permanents.
I mean, either way, like, he can, sack 2 Prophetic Prisms, block with Mnemonic Wall and Seagate Oracle, blink him with Ghostly Flicker.
Yeah.
Just
exactly.
do that, and then... Yeah, again, we're on turn. Steven's up a game, so he just has to not lose the game here.
Yes, exactly. So we're pretty sure
Steven's
going to lock up this match.
Yeah.
Cameron Wallbeck just has no way really to finish out. While he is probably ahead in this game, I would say.
You think?
Though it's very hard to tell. There's lots of mana
Yeah.
sources out without knowing exact cards in hand.
I think we're getting close to the point where people have, 2 or 3 outs in their deck. People have, 3 ways to win the game left in their library.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it really depends on what's left in the libraries, I think. But man, there's been a lot of value here. There has been
So he's
an
digging.
absurd amount of value.
Boy, is he digging. End step. Forbidden Alchemy. Look at Deno for Horror. 2
Mine.
Tron lands.
Power plant.
And maybe a Ghostly Flicker? But I'm pretty sure he was slamming that Deno for Horror into his hand. As a way to clear out those blockers. Potentially.
Yes.
And just actually get in there for lethal.
Maybe. I mean, good luck with that. But yeah.
Yeah. He'll probably play it this turn, flicker it enough to bounce those, and then he'll have to do that on the next turn and hope that's good enough. Doesn't look like it will be, because that would be 6 this turn and 10 the next, which is just actually 1 short of being able to get there. That's assuming no interaction from Steven Boston as well.
Yeah. And remember that Steven can also just flicker the Mnemonic Wall, get back a Pulse of Marasa, block with Mnemonic Wall.
Is there a Pulse Mouse in his graveyard? He exiled everything.
Oh, he did exile. Never mind. Yeah, no, yeah, you're...
Yes.
Yeah, we don't have infinite toolboxes anymore. Dinrova Horror meets an Exclude. Countering it, maybe. Met with the Dispel, right? Yeah,
Yep.
there's a Dispel. And then... Alright, so it's looking like the Exclude's going to get countered.
Yeah.
Yep. Exclude gets countered. Dinrova Horror resolves? I think it's going to resolve here. If Steven didn't have a response to... Yeah.
Balancing a power plant. Interesting. Or a tower.
A tower. Yeah, because he's only got 1 more tower.
Yes. He did just pitch that tower to the inside.
No, to Dinrova Horror.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is turn 3. Cameron's got turn 3, so he does have a turn after this.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that on turn 3 he's going after the mana base.
Exactly.
Not
That's why I thought that was a little suspect.
Yeah.
So it looks like he'll be casting Ghost and Flicker a bunch of times, but it's not looking like... The player who has a possibility to win this game is Steven Boston at this point, I believe. Just because of the inability of Cameron to chew through the value that Steven Boston has, the permanence he has, the blockers he has in a time that allow him to reduce that 15 points of life to 0.
Yeah. Another tower. Tron still assembled. And he goes and plays, hey look, Muldrifter.
Yep, another Muldrifter trigger. I think that makes 8 if I'm keeping correct count.
I think that's 8, yeah. Or it's 7 or 8. It's one of those.
It might be 9 actually, because there might have been one blink for the Ghostly Flicker that we missed, but
That's fair.
boy, are these deck draws a lot of cards.
Nice.
Just as a recap, of the 1, 2, 5, 9 non-land permanents he has in play, one of them returns a thing, one of them's just a mana rock, everything else says either draw a card or look at the top 2 and put one in your hand on it.
Great. Which is draw a card.
Exactly, yep.
Yeah. That's great. Huh. Alright, so it looks like end step, do the Ghostly Flicker Denrova Horror thing, get rid of...
Again, go get that tower.
This is the last match of the night, and this is the last turn of the night. So, we will see how it ends up going. Yep. Alright. I mean, he could just go Ghostly Flicker, Ghostly Flicker, Ghostly Flicker, Ghostly Flicker, concede.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's nice.
What?
He plays Ghostly Flicker for the 4th time this turn or whatever. This is end step, I believe. This is Steven's, or it might just be main phase. Either way, Steven hits it with a Condescend for enough to get rid of the Ghostly Flicker. So now we don't have a Ghostly Flicker anymore.
Yeah.
Cameron's just 100% out of it. Unless he has some miracle something, which I don't think exists.
I don't know if there are any miracles in this format now.
Yeah, there are. Thunder's Wrath.
Yeah, but in the blue, green, black deck,
Oh, there's so many sweet miracle cards. None of them are in this deck.
yep.
It almost looks like Cameron just took the top, half of his deck and just kind of spread it out on the table.
Cam knows he's gonna draw and just asks the opponent, "Do you think I can draw my whole deck?" And he might be going for it here. We're not quite sure. Looks like this last match is gonna end up in a draw. All these decks, all these 2-for-1s, just kind of stalemate each other, and there's just nothing really to break the stalemate if they ever manage to keep each other's crushers off the board. All right, that wraps it up for Pauper tonight, folks. Tomorrow, Thursday night, we have Modern, also at 6:30, and we will also be streaming that. So either check us out on the stream or come down and watch.
Or come down and play. Yeah.
Pairodice games.
Up in Bellingham.
Yep. Bellingham have these tournaments. Like we said, Monday is Legacy, Wednesday is Pauper, Thursday is Modern, and Friday is Standard. And I believe they all start at 6:30. Come down here, buy the cards you need for your tournaments. Come get in some games and keep watching the stream. Thank you very much for watching.
Yeah. If you don't play Magic as well, there's a board game night on Saturday, and I know that I'm going to be going there. And there's a really nice board game community here in Bellingham. So if you just want to come and play and hang out, you should come by. There's also a Fantasy Flight night on Sunday. You're free to come, bring your own game, play one of ours. It's a good time. Either way, my name is Adam Hockemeyer.
I'm Noble Solana Walkinshaw. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Yeah, and have a nice evening.